Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is over-scrutinized jawline Dan Ryan.
I got nothing for that. That was very funny.
It's week 2 of our Not E3 season coverage featuring the future of play, Ubisoft Forward, the Xbox Showcase, and a whole lot more. What spectacular new announcements got our toes curled? Get your hopes up for some 3D shoveling because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. Hi everyone, this is episode 519. It's the week of June 21st, 2024, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the heck else is going on in our lives. And speaking of which, Dan, how you doing?
Well, first of all, Kris, I'm a little disappointed. I just opened up the commercials, and there's no new commercials this week.
That's what I forgot to do. So I'm going to make that happen at some point this evening.
Well,
I knew I was forgetting something important.
All right. I pulled them up. I was ready to go. Man, it's been a very frustrating week, and I think that's just kind of my life going forward. So to catch everybody up on where we are. Last Friday, I had gone and gotten the results of my CT scan, and they were not ideal. Nothing to go crazy about necessarily, but not ideal, certainly not happy results. And I wasn't able to get in to see my doctor because she is a human, and she works very, very long hours, and I like her quite a bit, and I like her as a person. I like her as a doctor. She needs time to herself as well, to be a person in the world. I get that. But I could not get in to see her. The next time she was going to be in was going to be Wednesday of this past week. So 2 days ago from when we're recording this. So I went in and talked to her, and, we're going over it, and she's like, look, I'm not happy with these results. I'm not ready to say cancer yet. I said, okay, I really fucking wish somebody would, because I feel like that might make me feel a little better, weirdly,
Well, because then it would be ready. An answer, which is different than no answer. But if it's not cancer and they say it's cancer, let's get cooking, and then 3 days into chemo, you've lost all your hair, and they're like, actually, it was a piece of corn.
Actually, yeah,
sorry.
It's what my cousin. I talked to my cousin over the weekend. He was like, "Are you sure it's not indigestion?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's not just that."
Did you go to Chipotle anytime recently?
Yeah, he was like, "What have you eaten recently? What could it be?" So she was like, "All right, we need to schedule a biopsy." I said, "I knew that's where we were going. I wish we would have just started there." But she's like, "All right, you got to schedule the biopsy." Okay, cool. So that's Wednesday. So that was Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning is when I went to see her to have that follow up and start trying to schedule the appointment. And they gave me the number. So I called the number that's on the paper to schedule the biopsy. And the lady that I talked to, the scheduler, is like, I don't see an order here for you. And I was, read her my name, my birth date, and I was like, I have the order number. Is that helpful? And she was like, I mean, I'll give it a shot. Okay, cool. So she typed in the order number. She was like, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Call the doctor's office. All right, cool. So I called the doctor's office back. It was an hour later now. And I'm like, yeah, the scheduler lady said she doesn't see anything. I'm like, can you take a look at that or whatever. And she's like, yeah, no, it's totally scheduled. I'm looking at it right here. It's under this tab. She might have been looking under the wrong tab. So, okay. Why the doctor's office can't schedule it with the hospital, that's a whole other thing. The American healthcare system is broken. So anyway, so she was like, call the scheduler back. Okay, cool. Call the scheduler back, get a different lady on the phone. And she's like, well, actually, we wouldn't be the ones that schedule that. You'd have to talk to interventional radiology is the department that would schedule that biopsy. They'll do it at the hospital. Let me give you their phone number. And then you can call them. I'll transfer you over, but you can call them, leave a message if you don't get a hold of anybody right now. So, okay, fine. Obviously, I don't get a hold of anybody, right? So I leave a message. They're like, we'll call you back within 24 hours. So I was like, all right, let me go see if where I got the CT scan and the first ultrasound, let me see if they will do this, because what they're going to do is called a fine needle aspirate, right? So it's ultrasound guided biopsy. So they're going to stick a needle in there and pull out a bunch of cells and then have them tested. Let me see if South Jersey Radiology even does that, right? I don't think they do, but let me drive over there. I'm not working today. I got nothing else to do. Let me drive over there. They don't do it. Well, the lady that I go to in the one town is like, oh, we don't do that at this office, but they do it over in Voorhees. We don't do it in Haddon. They do it over in Voorhees. All right, cool. I'll drive over there. No problem. I'd rather talk to somebody face to face than calling somebody anyway, because when I'm looking at you in the face and I'm like, please tell me if I have cancer or not, it's really hard to be like, well, we'll schedule you for August. Like it's a lot harder to do that. So I drive over to the one in Voorhees and the lady is like, no, we don't do that at all. Like, that's just not a thing we do. We would do a breast examination if you had a lump in your breast, but you're not female, and that's not what you have. So we can't help you. I'm very sorry. But there is a Cooper, which is what my doctor's office is. There is a Cooper.
I thought they were sending you to Cooper Tires.
Yes, there's a Cooper Tires around the corner. They will do it for you. They're really good. There's a Cooper doctor's office around the corner. It's like a big campus, and they have a radiology department there and whatever. She said, why don't you go over and talk to them? Okay, no problem. So I go over and talk to them, and there's very nice people all throughout all of this. People trying to be helpful, right? So I go into this Cooper office, and I'm like, can you please point me in a direction? I am freaking out. This is the first thing that I've encountered now where things are slowing down, right? Like everything else has been like, yes, we'll get you scheduled. I showed up. Cool. We did the thing. All right. We'll get you scheduled for the next thing. Like everything has been moving at a pretty quick clip, right? Which has been great for my mental health. Not great with the results, but my mental health that part of it anyway, has been better. So I go in and I'm talking to the lady at the Cooper office, and she's like, let me send a couple messages on our internal messaging system. I'm going to call over there and see if I can't get a hold of anybody. I'll leave your name and information with them. The best thing I can tell you to do, though, is you just got to call and leave a message. They will call you back within 24 hours most of the time. Because you can't just go see them. It has to be done at the hospital, but the people who do the scheduling don't work at the hospital. They work remotely. There's nobody for you to go see. I said, all right, fine. So I go home defeated at that point, because there's nothing else I can do at that point. I just kept trying to call. Like I called every half hour throughout the day. And I was like, you know what? My bosses have been really, really fucking cool and understanding. And I've worked places where they wouldn't be, but my boss, I cannot, even like communicate how much of a relief it is to not have to worry about my job. Like I talked to my boss today, cause I went in today and he was like, dude, there are things that are way more important. This is a job. This is way more important. We've got you. Do what you got to do. And I was like, man, like, you don't know what that means. I know you think that sounds like something that just a normal human would say to another human, but that's not the case everywhere. And I appreciate it, and I will do what I can in the future to make it up to you. Right now, I'm just going to continue to lose my mind. So I took off on Thursday because I was like, fuck it, I'm not missing this phone call. You know, I'm not missing this phone call. They said they're going to call back within 24 hours. I've left a bunch of messages. So there's a couple different intervals of where I should be expecting a phone call back. I'm going to keep calling throughout the day. I got through to people a couple times. I kept getting bounced around to whoever. And then it starts hitting the 24-hour interval, and I don't get a phone call. And then it hits the next 24-hour interval. So it's like, now it's 12:30. Now it's 1:30, and I still haven't heard from anybody. I'm like, fuck, dude. All right, I'm going to my doctor's office. Because the front office, the office staff at my doctor's office have been just phenomenal. There's a lady that works there. Her name is Olivia. She's just fabulous. And I was like, Olivia, you should be more shit at your job, because I'm going to keep it in coming in and talking to you because you're really good and you're helpful and whatever. So I go in and I explain what's going on to her. She starts calling people. The manager of the office starts calling people. Like, everybody's working on it. And she's like, look, you can sit here all day and we'll try to call. You can keep trying to call, or you can just go home. She's like, they're either going to call you today or they're not. And if they don't call you today, just keep trying tomorrow. We're going to keep trying. I promise we are. And like, I trust her. So I was like, all right, fine. So I'll go home. So that's Thursday. So now it's 2 days later, right? I had the CAT scan with these suspicious lymph nodes a week ago today. It's now Thursday. It's yesterday from when we're recording, and I've gotten no further. And now I'm spinning, you know, like I'm out of control at this point. But I'm like, you know, I'm going to go to work today. I'm going to be distracted because they're going to call or they're not going to call, and I'm going to call and whatever. So I call around 10:30 this morning, and first ring, lady picks up. Interventional radiology, scheduling, how can I help you? I'm like, oh God, oh thank Jesus, don't hang up. Are you a real person? Like, I was freaking out. She's like, yes, what's wrong, sir? And I was like, I've been trying to get a hold of you fuckers for 2 goddamn days. Nobody returned my I don't care. Here's what I need. And she was like, all right. She was like, what's your availability? I said, yes. That's my availability. Yesterday is my fucking availability. You know, like, it literally doesn't matter. Just tell me when I can be there to get this biopsy done. And I feel like it's because when I saw my doctor, because my doctor happened to walk up while I was in the office on Thursday, and she was like, you need to calm the fuck down. I know she didn't say fuck. She should have, because I would respond better. She was like, you need to calm down. She was like, I'm good if we have to wait a few more weeks before this guy. I was like, weeks? Are you fucking crazy?
I'm glad you're good, because I'm fucking not.
Yes, I'm fucking not. Son of a bitch, don't say shit like that. She was like, look, we're good for a couple of weeks. She was like, you got time. Don't freak the fuck out. And because she said that, the lady that I talked to today was like, we can do the biopsy on the 24th at 10 a.m. And I was like, that is fucking 10 days from now. I was like, I will drive to the hospital right now. And she was like, I know that you will. You're not the only one. And I said, I get that. I do. Like, I know that I am not the only person. My family is not the only family going through this. I get all of that. I don't care. Like, you know, and that fucking feels really shitty to say out loud, but I don't at the moment. I just don't, and I can't. So the next step will be the biopsy on the 24th. However, my doctor's office, I talked to them again today. I was like, I got it scheduled. And they were like, well, we're going to keep trying to push for an earlier time for you. If we can figure something out, if we can get an earlier time, can we call you and you can go like that day, the next day? I said, yes, of course. I also got some blood work done when I was in there on Wednesday that came back with all of the markers and everything that's going on now. All of it seems to really be pointing to lymphoma or leukemia. One of those two things. It is based because if you have high TIBC, which is total iron blood count, I believe, but low this count. And low, yeah, right. Like the way my blood work lines up is that if you didn't have swollen lymph nodes, we would be talking about something else. But because you also have the swollen lymph nodes, all of that together usually means this, and it usually means lymphoma or leukemia, which is what we've been thinking this entire time. Like I said, I am concerned that it is a different type of cancer that has spread from a different part of my body. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It has never made sense. I don't have any of the other symptoms that would indicate lower body cancers. I've been scanned for upper body cancers. Brain cancer is kind of ruled out because that's a closed system. Brain cancer doesn't jump to another part of your body. You know what I mean? Like that. Whereas the other cancers can move from one part to another, that one really doesn't, as far as I understand it. So because I don't have any of the markers of any of the other cancers, I don't have any of the other symptoms of any of them, and because of the way the lymphatic system works in your body, right, is that its job is to move things around your body. It is from your head to your toes, and that is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take things and move it down and fight and all of those things that it's supposed to do. So it makes sense that there would be swelling in different parts of the body, right? Because it's moving those cells around anyway. It just happens to be taking some of the bad ones with it, and then they're grabbing hold in other places. So, all of that is to say, I don't know anything definitively until the 24th. And I won't, and see, the bitch of that is that I won't even know that day. Because it's not like they take it out and they're like, all right, well, here's what it is. We ran the test. It's still going to be time after that. So we're now looking at a month after the first visit before treatment even starts, and that just seems absurd to me. That just seems fucking crazy. But then I look, and the original appointment I had with Cooper after I talked to my doctor the first time, because I went to see the urgent care on Memorial Day. So that's what was Memorial Day? May 30th?
31st, something like that. That sounds about right. I don't fucking know.
Whatever the fuck Memorial Day was. I mean, I'm going to look it up because that's important context here. Memorial Day, so Monday, May 27th was my first visit with the urgent care. I then went to my doctor on Tuesday, the 29th. I was then able to schedule an ultrasound, the first step in the process, because I'm already up to step 3. The first step in the process was scheduled for the 24th when I'm having the fucking biopsy. So that would have been almost a month before I even had the first ultrasound. Because that's just how slow typically things move. But because my bosses were understanding and whatever, I was able to go to different places and be like, I don't care. My insurance covers it because I have really good insurance. Let's fucking get this done. So things have moved faster for me than they have for other people. But it still just feels like what do I do for the next 10 days, Kris? You know what I mean? What do I do? And I asked my doctor that. I was like, all right, Dr. Gill, What do I do? Do I exercise differently? Like, do I do coke about it? Like, what the fuck happens now? And she's like, nothing, man. She was like, it just, you have no symptoms. Mow your lawn. Eat a fucking burrito. Like, it's like, all right.
Well, I guess it is slightly encouraging, because if this was obviously something serious, then they wouldn't be, poking around all these tests and stuff. Typically speaking,
sure.
If it's like, oh, this is cancer, tomorrow you start. We'll figure out the rest of this shit paperwork later. Tomorrow you start. So, I mean, at least that's somewhat reassuring that the fact that they're sending you around to these various things and places means it's not that it at least on the surface is not that urgent, and that can't be a bad thing.
It doesn't appear as urgent to anyone else as it does to me. And yes, you are right. That is a bit of positive. That is a silver lining in all of this, is that it is not as urgent. Because if you go to the doctor and you're not being seen by a doctor, right? So like you go to get a scan of something, and the nurse or the technician who is doing the scan says, I'm going to go get the doctor. That's when you should start being concerned, right? Like that's the oh fuck. Things are about to start moving at a very rapid pace because there is something very wrong here. Like that's what happened with my blood pressure. Like when I went in and I was so sick and I had the flu and I went into the office, usually it was just the technician that will go through the whole thing, or the nurse practitioner or whatever. And she was like, I'm going to go get the doctor because this is fucked up, dude. You're like, this is nuts. And that moved quickly, and thankfully it didn't, whatever. So no, nothing that I've had done so far has required the immediate intervention and interpretation of a doctor. And my doctor herself even said, I'm not ready to say that word yet. And I was like, well, look, Dr. Google, which is not a reliable narrator, as we were talking about earlier, but Dr. Google has told me that this could be a number of different things, but that one of the other things that lines up with the symptoms that I have had, the mild, like the swollen lymph nodes and the blood work that I have, is HIV/AIDS. And if that's the case, somebody has a lot of fucking explaining to do, Kris. Because it damn sure isn't from me. Like it would have had to be a dirty needle from somewhere, and I don't do any needle-based, I don't do drugs. I was going to put the qualifier of needle-based drugs. That's fair.
You don't know what your family is injecting. Your daughters, they could be injecting you with all kinds of stuff.
They could.
Your dogs.
They very well could.
Your dogs could be sneaking into your room at night, injecting you with dog poison. And you don't know where you don't know where they got those needles from. They don't know shit about sanitation. They're dogs.
You're right. You're very, very right. But like it's stuff like that is the others, or like lupus and shit like that. And like, believe me, Kris, I want nothing more than to come on this podcast and be like, dude, fucking false alarm. Holy shit, that was scary. I want this, I want nothing more in the world than this to be a very dramatic wake-up call to not just myself, but our listeners, my friends, everybody, to like, check your shit out. You know what I mean? Go to the doctor. I want nothing more than that. I really doubt it. And like, and the hard part about it is trying to make some amount of peace with that. Because, again, and I cannot stress this enough, I'm not worried about the fight part. It's going to suck, but I'm gonna get through it. I'm not fucking leaving. No. It's not happening. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking Wolf of Wall Street in this shit. I'm fucking leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that's where my head's at. Like, fuck you. I don't know. Like, I'm not doing that shit. I went to my daughter's graduation yesterday, and as I sat there, the thought obviously creeped into my head. I wonder if I will get to go to their high school graduation, which was then immediately followed by, shut the fuck up. Of course you are. Of course you are. What an absurd thought. Absurd. So,
I mean, unless the world blows up. I mean, nuclear winter
sure.
is right around the corner at all times. But I understand what you're saying. Just, you know, the bombs could be showing up any minute now.
You're right.
Just
you're very right. You're
throwing that out there.
You're 100% accurate. 100%. But like, yeah, like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? I would love nothing more to come on and be like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy. I cannot believe that I went so far down this rabbit hole and whatever, and was chasing doctors and all of this shit, and it turns out it was just indigestion. Who fucking knew? You know, I really would love nothing more than for that to be the case. I just really fucking doubt it. I just really do. You know?
Yeah, I get it.
And the hard part is sitting here like, all right, so I gotta wait the 10 days to get the fucking next thing done, and then I gotta wait till after that to get the biopsy done to then start the treatment. And like, fuck, man, let's go already. You know, not that I can go anywhere and be like, I'm gonna get some chemo just in case. Just, you know, whatever you got, whatever's on tap today. Fucking put a port in, which is another surgical procedure. You know, but just whatever. It's fine. Hit me with some radiation. What you got? So it's like, oh, fuck, dude. It's really, really hard, obviously, to focus on literally anything else. For me. Maybe other people would be able to deal with it better. But for me, it's been incredibly difficult to enjoy anything else, to focus on anything else. And that's frustrating, you know, because it was my girl's graduation from 8th grade. Now, it's 8th grade. Like let's not, you know.
Let's not oversell it here.
Let's not oversell it. But
it's a big deal to them.
It's a big deal to them. And I have not been able to properly make it a big deal with them. Because I just can't, you know? I just can't. And it's like, fuck, man, like that. And I don't want them to suffer any from like my shit. But of course they're going to. You know, like, it's just, it makes it all rather difficult. So again, all of this is to say, and I'm sorry if this, like, I hope this doesn't like bum people out at the beginning of the podcast, because this is just going to be my life for the next little bit, guys. Like, I'm very sorry. I you know, it just is what it is. And this is my therapy. Like, and I want you to know, Kris, and I want all of our listeners to know, that giving me this platform to just ramble for a little bit is incredibly helpful for me, for my mental state. And I appreciate it, and I love you all, and I thank you in advance for the weeks that are to come and the support that I may need from you, that I may not. I don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't know for sure. And again, I will continue to stress this, like, please do not ignore shit. Just fucking don't ignore things. That you feel lump somewhere, don't think it's like, I'm just getting older, or it's a ingrown hair, or it's a cyst, or it's a whatever. Like, if it's by your lymphatic system, maybe go have that shit looked at. Like, at least have a doctor poke around at it and have them tell you not to fucking worry about it, because the first one I found was in November. And I just thought it was like, that doesn't feel like anything. That feels like a cyst, you know? I've had a cyst under my arm before. I've had a cyst, whatever. That doesn't feel like much. It's fine. And it does now. So don't fucking ignore shit. And that's where I'm at, Kris. That's where we are.
Well, I appreciate the update.
Is that too much?
No. This is what we're here for. This is what we do at the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. Yeah. We talk about everything except video games.
Literally everything other than video games. I hope in my heart of hearts, I hope that somebody listening to our show, because look, like, let's fucking face it, none of us are getting out of this fucking game unscathed. You're like, nope, Grandpa, he lived till 98 years old, never sick, just went to sleep one night, it was peaceful, it was great, nothing, no problems, everything was hunky-dory. Like, none of us are getting there, right? That's just not in the cards for any of us. So if by me talking about this can get one person to talk to somebody they care about, to take care of themselves a little bit better, to take care of their family a little bit better, to hug somebody that you haven't hugged in a while, to tell your friends that you love them and make it fucking really awkward. Like, tell them a lot so that they're uncomfortable about it, but like that they have to say it back. Like if I want to, like, whatever good can come out of it is more like what I'm focused on. So in the moment, I still have my moments of like where I lay up in my bed and sob like a baby. Cause it's scary and I don't fucking know. I don't have, like you said earlier, Kris, I don't have any answers. I have what I think is the answer. But it's not definitive, so it's just scary instead. And that's not a great place to fucking be.
No, that's definitely not. And I do not envy you, that's for sure. But I have been thinking about you all week, and I'm glad to hear that you haven't gotten the official confirmation of bad news quite yet, but I am also frustrated on your behalf that you haven't gotten anything else.
No. I did wake up, I think, like Sunday night. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning with uncontrollable chills. And I was like, well, fuck.
I thought you were going to say diarrhea. I'm glad it was chills.
No. Just like what's weird about it is that it's almost like my body, and it would make sense because if my lymphatic system is not doing its job properly, it's almost like my body went through an entire flu in like 20 minutes. And that was fucking unsettling. I gotta tell you, like, I woke up with horrendous flu symptoms at 2:30 in the morning, and by 3 o'clock was back asleep with no problem whatsoever.
I'd say it was downright uncalled for.
Well, that was fucking weird. That was all right, cool. I guess that's a thing that I could get through. Thanks, body, for giving me a preview of what's to come, I suppose.
What an asshole.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway. So I didn't play a lot of video games this week, is really... That's just my long way of trying to come up with an excuse for why I didn't play a lot of video games this week. Except for Snap. Like, that's the one thing that I've been able to, like... I haven't hit Infinite in Snap in months, because I just don't care. Honestly, I don't play enough to get there. I just don't give a shit. I get up to level 90 to get my 500 gold, and then I fucking whatever. And then I just start fucking around. But this week, with everything else going on, I was like, I can't really get into like a story-driven game or anything like that. I'll play a little bit of baseball here and there, a little bit of Balatro here and there. But I am going to focus on hitting Infinite and Snap. I am going to just dedicate some time to this in particular and try to farm some boosters for specific splits and, you know, level up cards and whatever. And that has been the focus of my gaming. And I still haven't fucking gotten to Infinite yet. I'm very, very close though. I'm very close. I think I'm like 11 cubes away or something like that from hitting Infinite. And I'm using Hella, which makes me happy because everybody hates Hella. I like getting there's a Miss Marvel emote in the game, and she's like giving a wink and a thumbs up, and everybody is taking that one to be the like, okay, dickhead, thanks, you fucking asshole. That's what that emote has become. And I just enjoy winning and getting that emote from people. It makes me happy. No, I'm only 8 cubes away from hitting Infinite, so that's fun. It doesn't ultimately matter. It's been a decent distraction because it's just different from the way that I usually play Snap, right? Like I usually play and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Let me try out this deck. And oh, I saw this on Twitter. Let me try out this one. And let me try this over here. But this time I've been like, nope, I'm going to focus on this so that I don't think about dying. Fucking. Tiff asked me not to make jokes. And I'm trying not to.
Oh, you can make all the jokes you want here on the show.
No, I know.
That's how I deal with stress and tragedy and terrible situations. I make jokes.
Yeah.
Laughter is the best medicine.
I did have to talk to the kids a little bit. I'm like, all right, you guys got to tone like... Because they say a lot of shit like, oh, I'm going to fucking kill you, you know, like just to like each other and shit like that. I'm like, all right, you guys are like really upsetting your mom. You got to like pull back on that shit a little bit. And they're like, why? It's like, well, kids, we kind of have some shit going. And they're like, oh yeah, we forgot about that. I'm like, you're not fucking great people. I don't know what I did, where I went wrong. You're not great humans at the moment because you're teenagers, and teenagers are terrible humans. But
it's true.
They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, please, you know, like, just pull back a little bit from, like, the aggression and the 15-ness of it all. So, anyway, how you doing?
Oh, I'm tired. I'm really, really tired.
Yeah.
I have not been sleeping well the last couple of nights. 2 nights ago... I just weirdly didn't sleep well, and then, no, it was like 3 nights ago. Then 2 nights ago, Ellie had a nightmare and came crawled in the bed, which, you know, that doesn't bode well for me sleeping, because then I have like 6 inches of bed to be on. Because we don't have a king-size bed. We have a queen-size bed.
Yep, us too.
Barely enough for me and Karen. So, and then last night, I was just having bad dreams, and I don't even remember what they are. I just kept waking up. I was like, ugh.
That sucks.
The hell was that? And I never... That's a very unusual thing for me. So I have no idea what was going on. I don't know, no clue what was cooking there, but I've been pretty tired, and I've also been exercising pretty hard, because that's been my thing lately. I've been really working on trying to maintain this regular exercise routine to not... I'm not trying to lose weight, I'm just trying to be healthier, you know?
Right.
And I'm doing... what our Mr. Rouchy told me to do, and I'm doing my 3 reps, as it were, of my sets of 12, and I do 2 sets of 12 and then 1 set of 8, so I'm at like 32. It is strange to hear the words come out of my mouth that I am regularly doing 32 push-ups a day.
Yeah,
but that's awesome. Is it? It doesn't sound like me. It sounds like something that somebody else would do, because I feel like and it's because you know it's the repetition. It's doing 12 and then waiting a little while and then doing another 12 and then waiting a little while and then doing 8. So it's like I'm not doing all those in a row, but it's still, you know, accumulating to that number in a day. And it's like, if you had asked me how many push-ups I could do like a few years ago, when I started this, I was, you know,
1
struggling to get through 5, and now I don't know. So it's something, but it's also exhausting, and it's so hard in the summer, and I'm still trying to get used to having a dog in the summer that requires walking, because what I would usually do is I would take a shower in like the middle of the day, because that's when it makes the most sense, where other people are around in the house and when I'm free, when I won't be missed. But that is now completely pointless, because if I take a shower in the middle of the day, I still got to walk Hopper in the afternoon. And when I come back from that, I'm drenched in sweat, because that's we're now at the point of the year where if I walk outside, I'm sweating. If I am conscious, I'm probably sweating.
Yeah.
So
You're
I've
a sweaty
had to,
boy.
It's
all right.
It's hereditary. It's ridiculous. So I've had to pretty seriously adjust my schedule to be able to shower later in the day, and it's not working out great. It's not. It's getting in the way of certain things. And yeah, the kids, this was their first day of summer vacation, so trying to. I was supposed to be around more today, but a work thing happened where I made a video for a product that we were going to do for a giveaway. Because whenever I do the product overviews, like, I'm supposed to be, they send me these products to do the videos on, and then we give them away, the ones that I use in the videos. But every now and then, I'm told that, no, we can't do a giveaway on that. Well, why? Why not?
Because
what else are we going to do with this thing? So I wound up having to, I only have a few items left from the last bunch of stuff that they sent. So I had to cobble together today a video on the Turbo EverDrive Pro, which is considerably more complicated than, this is something that I would have liked to take a couple of days to do. But the video needs to go up on Sunday. So I had to make that shit happen today. And that was in addition to all the other work that I needed to do. So like you mentioned earlier, I forgot to write commercials, which I was able to do while listening to you talking earlier. So they're not very creative because I was listening to you. So I was just like there. So we'll have to put our own spin to make the commercials fun this week, because they're not super creative and fun, but they do exist now.
That's not nothing.
I'm just beat. It's I'm tired, and Evan's out of town this weekend, and I have to edit a theater near you and this podcast this week, and Sunday's Father's Day, and tomorrow Karen and Ellie are out doing stuff. They're doing a mud run with my mom, which is kind of fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, Karen's not thrilled about it.
But
she loves my mom, so... But she loves my mom, so that's where that is. So yeah, I'm probably gonna wind up editing podcasts for Father's Day, which I'm not thrilled about, because I just want to break. Like, I know I don't have nearly as much going on in my life as you do, but I still got plenty going on, and I'm tired, and I really want to break, and I would like to do nothing for Father's Day. And that's the other thing. Like, we got Father's Day, we got my birthday next week.
Worthwhile. That's acceptable.
It is worthwhile.
Like
I haven't sat and just played video games for no reason for a while.
For pleasure.
Exactly. I've been doing them. I've been doing them for work so much lately. I haven't done much gaming just for the hell of it, because I like video games. Yeah. And I've got my birthday next week, and Karen wants to know what to do for my birthday, and I'm like, well, we're fucking poor, so as little as possible, because this month has also been extremely financially draining, and I haven't even gotten new tires for my car yet, which is gonna be like $1,200 at least. Like,
oh, fuck that. Go get used tires. There's got to be a used tire place by you.
Used tire place. Yeah.
I got when Tiff was getting her new car, like, I went and priced the tires at the used tire shop. It ended up not needing them, but it was going to be like $100 for all four, like including balancing and all of that shit. Like, now that doesn't include what the fuck? When your steering wheel's out of fucking whack.
Alignment.
Oh, Jesus. Alignment. Thank you. Doesn't include that, which is, not ideal. You want to get the alignment done as well. But if you need a set of new tires, like used tires, pretty fucking okay. And they're like $30 a piece.
That's what you want. That's what you want with your tires. You want them to be pretty okay.
Yeah. They don't need to be anything fucking special. Big Tire has fucking rooked all of us.
I was somebody had suggested, I haven't looked into it yet because I just haven't had the fucking time. But somebody had suggested this website where you buy just the tires on your own, and then you have them sent to your mechanic and just pay for the labor instead of the tires through them, and you can get the tires cheaper when you buy them yourself.
Sure.
So I have research to do. I didn't even consider used tires, so I'm going to look into that.
I swear to God, if you spend $1,200 on tires, I'm driving down there and punching you in the jaw, in your compelling jawline, or whatever you said at the beginning of the show.
Oh, I forgot what was it. Was the word I used? Over scrutinized jawline.
Yes, I'm going to come punch you in your over scrutinized jawline.
Somebody should. Yeah, it's between like the baseball game, taking Ellie to the baseball game, and several other things that happened this month. Like, we were financially doing real good at the beginning of June, and it just, one thing after another, just tank, and we're still okay.
That's how it goes, man.
But we're not where we were, and that's just so extremely frustrating because we're working so hard. I'm working so hard on trying to make it so that we can be more financially stable, and like we keep getting right up to that edge of being like, all right, we can start chipping away at stuff. We can really start not counting every penny and not like being super careful at the grocery store every week, like we're just right up against that line, and then just, here's a bunch of shit. I still haven't taken Hopper to the vet yet. He got me the paperwork, and I know I need to take him to the vet. But, like, I also know that's not going to be cheap because it just isn't. No. Like, I got to have at least 500 laying around just to get him there and be registered as a dog. And, finding that is just not the easiest thing in the world right now. Like, we are living paycheck to paycheck, and I fucking hate it. But it is the world we live in. It is the way things are. And I just have to get a straw and suck it up.
Yeah.
I have, just as of this evening, cleared 500 in both of my Gambler accounts, though. So that's
exciting.
I can start pulling a little bit of that out to pay for the various things in life. I have also kind of leading into this, my parents' internet, that didn't happen last week, right?
No.
That doesn't sound familiar to you? Okay.
No.
My parents went to go get my dad a new phone and wound up with 2 new phones, 2 new tablets, and a whole new internet service.
Oh, well, son of a bitch. They got upsold. Well done to whoever upsold them. They
got talked into some shit, which is fine. It kind of worked out in my favor. I don't know. I'm very curious to hear more about their internet situation because they wound up getting their internet through T-Mobile.
Okay.
Which doesn't provide, like, as far as I know, around here, Comcast is the only one that provides high enough speed internet to do like what I do.
Gigabit
I would
speed.
love to be with,
as if that's
just about
fucking impressive. Yeah.
I'd love to be with just about anyone other than Comcast, but this service doesn't seem too stellar to me, and I feel like
isn't it their 5G internet service? Isn't that what T-Mobile does?
God, I really don't know. Because I wasn't there for the sales pitch. I was just there to help install the stuff in their house. So I put the box like in the window, and it tried to find the nearest cell tower or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't seem crazy reliable to me. But my dad gave me his old iPhone 8 and my mom gave me her old iPad 7 because they got new tablets and phones. So, yeah, I finally was able to retire my wife's. This is currently out of batteries. Her old. Goodness, which one is this? Excuse me. This is, I want to say, an iPhone 4 that we were.
Oh my god,
rocking. This was our music player in our dining room. We just had this hooked up that we would have, just load up with music, and that's how John listens to his video game music. And
sure.
Oh my god. But the battery just doesn't work in this thing. Like, it'll just die while it's plugged in. And be like, I'm out of batteries. What the fuck? You're plugged in. So it was
that's
nice
impressive.
to be able to replace that with something that actually functions.
God, for fuck's sake.
So that's good. And I have an iPad now. And so since that other phone and the iPad are functional devices, I meant to do that this week. I meant to do it today, but today turned into last minute writing for Nintendo Force, making this whole video, doing the script for this, etc., etc. So I didn't get a chance to do it, but I plan on setting up Karen with 2 different Gambler accounts so that every Friday I can do it on 4 devices instead of 2.
That seems like a good idea.
It does, because that means that I can earn twice as much.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing.
No, it's never a bad thing. It's a silly amount of effort to get a little bit of extra money, because that's the fucking world I live in. You gotta get that extra money somehow.
It's the world we all live in, Chris.
It's true. It really is. The only gaming that I have been doing, I have been trying my very best to push myself into at least a little bit of time throughout the week, usually in lieu of, it usually cuts into my sleeping time. But I've been working through the Mega Man games on Nintendo Switch Online. I'm halfway through Mega Man 2. And these games aren't long, so that goes to show you how much time I've been able to make to do that. But it's just wonderful to be able to play those games on my TV with a rewind button, and it's very, very smile-inducing. I've been having a blast with those. I really like those games. They're so strange. They're so not quite the NES games, they have such a different feel and slightly different physics, but they're unique Mega Man games, and they're fun. I like them.
They are fun. I've always struggled on whether or not they're actually any good.
I would say they are. They get better.
They're not bad.
They're more flawed than the NES games, but they also, they have a more difficult task ahead of them, being, on the Game Boy with its limitations, with its screen and power, etc. But yeah, I do think they're solid games, because I have fun playing them. There's
right. Oh, I have fun playing a lot of shit that's not good. I just,
fair enough. There's definitely stuff especially the first one, that's definitely could be considered not good. There are a lot of insta-death things. There's just no way to see that shit coming. You jump down blindly into a hole, and it's well, if you don't hold left, then you're gonna die, and there's no way to know that until you get down there and die.
Until you do it.
That's
the only
one
I ever had.
So.
That's fair. The first one is the only one that I ever had physically. I still have it. So that's the one I'm most familiar with. I've played all the other ones, and you're right, they do get better. But my memory of them is certainly colored by the amount of time I've spent with that first one, because it's fucking frustrating.
Yeah, it is. Now, let's see. 29. John has been obsessing over, I feel like you've heard of this game before because you have kids and they're not as young as John, but who knows? It's been around for a while. Are you familiar with Friday Night Funkin'?
Oh, yeah. I talked about that years ago during the pandemic. Yeah, Katie was all fucking about it. She was really good at it, too.
John's all about it, too, and it's like DDR with a keyboard or some shit like that.
It's not bad. Yeah, honestly, it's not bad.
The music is, or at least the music in the stages that he's playing. Oh my god.
Some of it's
my god. He is obsessed with the most difficult, like insanely difficult levels of this game that are just like, as I'm looking at it, he's like, yeah, my friend can do this. I'm like, there's no way he can do this. Like, this is just ridiculousness. Like, all you got to do with this is slow it down and practice it, not realizing that unlike DDR, it doesn't count against you if you do incorrect inputs. Because I watched John play, and he's like, look, I figured out how to do this stage. And he just vibrates his hand on the keyboard. He's not pressing anything. He's not following the notes. He's pressing all the buttons in a random order as fast as he possibly can. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, he might be on
nonsense.
the free play version of it, because there is a version where that shit definitely does count against you.
Oh, he's definitely doing some kind of free version of it or something, because it's the level that he's obsessed with is called Unfairness, where like the arrows go by.
I don't know that song. Yeah.
The arrows go by like, I don't know, faster than the human eye can see. Like they're just zipping unreasonably fast, and periodically the screen turns upside down and sideways, and like
the level is called Unfairness, to be fair.
To be fair. And the song, the fucking music, oh my god, this song is absolute garbage. It is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
I don't know that. I'm going to pull it up. I don't think it'll bleed through.
Please do. Please do. Pull it up, because if not, I will send you a link. FNF Unfairness.
FNF
Go ahead and listen to this thing, which he has requested I put on the iPod so he can listen to it on his own, and it's just...
Ooh. Okay,
it's
hold
stressful to listen to. It hurts.
Okay, Unfairness in 4K. All right, hold on. Nope. That's about enough of that. That does not sound like Friday Night Funkin' music usually does.
I've done a little bit of research and heard like that some of the other music, because there's a ton of stuff in this game. A ton of content that's been made for this. This is just like weird, screechy, repetitive noises. It sounds like a calculator vomiting on a cat being scraped across a cheese grater. It's horrible.
It's not good.
Yeah, and so that's been happening.
It's not good. What was the one Katie was super obsessed with? Let me see if it's here. I'm looking at the top 50 songs. She was what the fuck was it called? I can't remember. And I don't even know if I would recognize it if I saw it on here. I think I would. This is just somebody's like top 50 list. No, it's not in here. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. A lot of the music wasn't bad. Like I played it a couple times, like a Roblox version or something like that with Katie, and I didn't hate it. You know, whatever that fucking Unfairness thing was, that was real stupid.
Yeah, it's bad stuff.
I didn't care for that.
On the opposite side, John has been playing Portal a lot lately. Well, I don't know where it came from, but he just jumped into Portal, and he's been getting kind of frustrated, but he's most of the way through the first game on his own. I've only pointed him in a couple directions with the puzzles from time to time. So that's been fun having Portal back in the house, because I love that game. It's wonderful.
It's just great.
Yeah, it's one of the most perfect games ever made.
Yeah, it really
is. Well, I think that just about does it. You know, we already talked about before the show. We talked about the Acolyte, which me being the Star Wars whore I am, very much enjoying. And I don't think there's been much else. We watched We started the final season of Sweet Tooth, which is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
God, I feel like there must be something else going on, but it's really just been, I've just been kind of working and exercising, and got to find that balance. I just have to find that balance that makes between walking the dog and actually bathing and taking care of the kids and not missing all of summer vacation. Like I don't even really know what's going on for my birthday this year.
I do.
Yeah, it's not like a super surprise. I just told Karen that I wanted to do something here and just kind of hang out with people, and so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited.
You're gonna hate it. It's terrible.
Probably.
It'll be a hot dog. She said the word pegging quite a few times. It's like, I got to tell you, Karen, I'm all for you guys exploring things. God bless you. I just don't think Kris is going to be into it. Or maybe he will. I don't know. You have a whole new worldview, Kris.
One way to find out. All right, well, we should take ourselves a break because, oh boy, it's not early.
No.
Gonna take ourselves a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna cover week-old news and talk about what happened last week in the world of video games. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new on the official Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel.
First up, Kris, bees. Not like the cute yellow and black pollinators, but like the actual letter B in plural form. Like multiple bees. Like BBs. But not like BBs, right? like
the HH button.
Like the HH button. Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that. Nintendo has a number of franchises that start with the letter B. Really, though, the big question is, how are those franchises doing? What has the big N been doing with the likes of Balloon Fight, Bayonetta, and Box Boy? What about the ultra-beloved series that all Nintendo fans have been holding out hope for, the Super Scope-enabled Battle Clash? How about baseball? Everybody likes baseball, right? Kris, that's you, dives deep to investigate what Nintendo has been up to with their B-tier franchises. I see what you did there. And you can learn all about his findings in the Nintendo Report, Baseball's Bots and Boxes, which is not as sexy as it sounds.
No, but you know what? That made sense, and I'm thrilled because I really was listening to you and not paying much attention to this. So I was kind of afraid there's just going to be a lot of sentences that don't line up here, and that went surprisingly well. Let's see if we can continue.
I should have said the Nintendo Report, Baseballs, Bots, and Vaginas. I mean boxes. That would have been funnier.
I mean vaginas.
Vaginas. My favorite kind. It's the back vagina.
Next, in the latest chapter of our Mario retrospective, things continue to be far more complicated than they might seem at first glance. In this episode, Mario goes 16-bit in Super Mario World, Nell Sonic's final Mario-themed watch gets ultra weird with the return of the Koopa Dragon and something called the Super Fur, Charles Martinet makes an unexpected debut in a pair of pinball tables, and Wario shows up on the scene in memorable fashion. Learn all about it in Stone Age Gamer Archaeology Mario Brothers Retrospective Part 4, Worlds Beyond.
I believe the Super Fur goes with the vagina. That's how you know you've got it. Finally, Kris.
It actually grants you a poncho.
Do you need
I didn't make that shit up.
You're dealing with
I didn't make
when you're dealing with a vagina.
In Super Mario. Well, I mean, it depends on the vagina, really. But
oh, these are the best.
In the Nelsonic Game Watch version of Super Mario World, they replaced the feather that gives you the cape with something called the Super Fur that gives you the poncho.
And do you fly with the poncho?
Well, it's an LCD game, so no. No, you don't. You just like somebody
You just
who was
wear a
completely
poncho.
insane looked at the artwork for Mario World and said, "That's what that is. That's not a cape. That's a poncho." It's
outstanding.
utterly fascinating. Just unreal.
God, that is...
Take us home, Dan.
That's
Take us
something.
home.
All right. Well, finally, Chris. X-Men 2, Clone Wars. Which is very different than Star Wars 2, The Clone Wars. Is that what that one's called? Episode 2?
Yeah.
It's called The Clone Wars,
Episode
right?
2.
All right, yeah.
The
Anyway.
clone? No, the Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. All right, never mind. Clone Wars is the cartoon. Either way,
Yes.
It's not this. X-Men 2 Clone Wars is a game that a lot of people really love. Chris, you, again, is not one of those people. Not
true.
for lack of trying, though, is he and the Venerable... I feel like I've read this previously. Didn't I read this one? Or did we just talk about it?
We did just talk about it, though, because I wrote a blog post about this 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, in the Mutant
And
Apocalypse. Yeah, okay.
I read that
anyway,
commercial.
my bad.
But then I made a video
did.
version of that blog post, and that's what I'm advertising now.
Very sexy. All right, well...
And instead of just copy-pasting the old ad, I wrote a whole new one, which was dumb.
Yeah, no, that's... Chris doesn't hate this game though because he looked at it and was like, "Oh, this game sucks because it's not what I like." Like he put the effort in, and he and the venerable Mike Sheridan actually put a not insignificant amount of time into trying to understand what all the hubbub is all about. See what you did there? But the real question is, how does it stack up against Capcom's Super NES classic X-Men Mutant Apocalypse? Well, in an all-new 16-bit brawl by viewer request, following the sound defeat of the first X-Men game on the Sega Genesis, it's time to see how the sequel stacks up. Don't miss all the action in 16-bit brawl rematch, X-Men 2 versus Mutant Apocalypse. We all know that Arcade's Revenge would win.
Oh, God.
Best game ever made.
Oh, God.
No,
That game
it's the
hurt my
best.
feelings so bad.
No, it's the best X-Men game ever made.
I'm sure I told this story on the show, but I didn't know that there was a character called Arcade. So I expected that game was a sequel to the arcade game where you also got to play Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
The disappointment.
Definitely not.
The disappointment.
Yeah. I mean, I've built some things up in my head to not have them pay off and be disappointed, but thinking you're getting a sequel to the arcade game with the addition of Spider-Man? Oh my God, that sounds like a fucking great time. And then...
I was so sad.
Ooh.
I was so let down. Not even immediately, right? Because that title screen, especially the Super Nintendo one with that crazy guitar
dope.
riff, so good. And then he started. Like, there's this weird fart noise
What
that's
is
representing the
happening?
spider sense. I'm just running around diffusing bombs. Wolverine's beating up clowns. Man, fuck that game. I hate that game so
It's
much.
such a bad game.
So
It's so
terrible.
bad.
For all this
Anyway.
and more, be sure to check in with our YouTube channel wow, there it is. There's a sentence that doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense. How do I fix this?
Found it.
I knew there was going to
Hold
be
on,
one.
I wasn't even looking at it.
For
Be sure to
all
check
this
in
and more,
with-
be sure to check in with our YouTube channel and follow.
No, I got it.
I just did ing. Yeah, just do follow. There we go.
For all this and more, make sure to smash that like button on the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel. Enable
yes.
notifications so you don't miss a video. Smash, smash, smash that like button. And your wife or husband, whatever.
Nailed it. Everybody, we are back, and it is time to discuss what's new at Stone Age Gamer. This is week 10. Still waiting on those Power Mace minis. Still waiting.
Well,
I was assured, once again this week, that they were coming. I was assured that they would be in a package, and it did not happen.
Maybe you just didn't look in the right package?
Maybe they're all just, like you said, they're being mailed to your house. You're just sitting on a stack of them. Just stacks on stacks.
They're all out in the garage. I'm looking at them.
Sexy as hell.
Every week I get more. And I'm like, why do they fucking keep sending them to me? But here they are.
Really, the only news that happened this week with Stone Age Gamer was that we got a restock on some of the HD Retrovision cables that we've been out of, which was nice. I think we got like some of these G-Comp things that are like super expensive. We've been getting those in small batches and sending them out. But yeah, been just a maintenance week at Stone Age Gamer. Nothing crazy and super, super exciting. So that just means it's time to kick up your feet. It's time to take off your pants and yell into the darkness, because it is time.
They're already off.
For my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for week-old news.
Before you hit me with some news, though, Kris, I did forget to mention earlier that one wonderful ray of sunshine and love did show up on my doorstep this week. I got a package from Ferg of some records.
Ooh.
And it was just fucking a Bad Religion record, which it's fucking incredible. 2 Dinosaur Jr. records, which, I mean, I've been talking about James Macias and his latest record and my love of Dinosaur Jr. And it was just so thoughtful and touching and lovely that those were included. And also a fucking copy of Captain Beefheart Trout Mask replica, which is just Captain Beefheart Trout Mask replica. That is what it is. It is just this fucking incredibly ridiculous avant-garde whatever it is, and I fucking love it. And I put it on. A pen was with me when I opened up the package, and I was like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe Ferg said. I was like, oh my god. And she was like, what is that? First of all, it's an amazing album cover, but what does it sound like? And I was like, you're not ready. And she was like, oh, you fucking try me. Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm 15. I know everything. I listen to weird shit. I love Tiny Tim. And I was like, yeah, everybody fucking loves Tiny Tim. Okay? Come here. This is nothing like Tiny Tim. You're not ready for this. This is not even the Doodah Dog Band. Like, you are not fucking prepared for this. And I put it on, and she just looked at me. She was like, what is fucking wrong with you? This is just insanity from start to finish. And if you've never listened to Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band's Trout Mask replica, I don't know if you should, but you should, kind of thing. It is insane. Bad Religion, Dinosaur Jr., Captain Beefheart, like, Ferg, love you, thank you. I mean, I sent him a message. I'm not just saying it here for the first time. But that was really fucking awesome, and I wanted to shout him out to fucking everybody. Ferg is the best.
Ferg is the best. He is the gift that keeps on giving. He's a magic man.
He really is.
So anyways,
so
welcome to Week Old News,
Sorry.
where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. Now, it's going to be a little bit lighter because a lot of the news last week had to do with our feature topic, the Not-So-E3 recaps. So let's get right down to business. Kotaku reports that PS2 era The Thing is getting a fancy remaster.
That's pretty great. It's a good game. It's a great movie. Good game. That could be a great game.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this shapes up. It's Night Dive Studios, those absolute nutcases that keep remastering 3DO games. And I love them for being weird, and I hope this comes out as good as that I imagine it will, because they don't seem to do bad work. They seem to do good work.
No, they really don't.
It seems to be their thing. Seems to be their bag.
That?
Oh,
Did you like the movie enough to try the game?
Not really.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm trying to think to myself, like, will I play that? Will I? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
No, you won't. No. That's fair.
I'm glad that it's out there in the world for other people to play, though. That makes me happy. Brings warm fuzzies to my cold pricklies.
Excellent.
Quite. Any Hoosers, Time Extension reports fan-made Double Dragon SNES port adds new MSU1 intro and audio. This port is now available, and it comes to us from Rumblemans, our very own, because we claim ownership over him now.
That's right.
Our very own Rumblemans. He's been doing great work on these NES to Super NES ports. And Double Dragon was his latest one, which I am very fascinated by. I want to see more of it in action because the NES Double Dragon is kind of wonky, and I feel like a cleaned up Super NES port is going to fix a lot of stuff. So that's really cool, and we should have him on the show to talk about this shit sometime.
We definitely should.
Because why not? Why not, right? By the way, this is our show. This is our party. We can cry if we want to.
Usually do.
Moving along, go Nintendo.
Hold on, keep talking. I gotta take my shirt off. Hold on. It's fucking hot down here.
You know, it's just funny to me. I did that like an hour ago. I tend to do it every week, actually. And I have this like routine where I try to like take out one of my headphones and like slip the shirt around so I don't stop hearing what Dan's saying. But also I get to take the shirt off. But
I just took everything off and took the shirt off. I put long sleeves on because I went outside. Because Tiff went out to smoke. Because I do. No, Tiff went out to smoke, and we have just not paid nearly enough attention to the fucking horror show that is the side of my house, and there has been growth with all of the fucking crazy shit that's there, and I was like, fuck it, while Tiff is smoking, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna start cutting some of this shit down, right? And as I'm cutting it down, Tiff goes, that is fucking poison ivy. I'm like, that, it's not fucking poison ivy. Shut up. No, it's not. And she was like, no, it's fucking poison ivy. I was like, it really fucking isn't. Like, we don't have poison ivy on the side of the house. I promise we don't. And she was like, well, I'll use the fucking Google Glass or whatever the fuck that shit is. And she pulls up the Google Glass, and the Google Glass comes back, and it's like, yep, asshole, it's fucking poison ivy. Good job, dickbag. And I was like, first of all, Google, that was really a mean way to put that. Second of all, I still don't believe you. So I went and fucking looked, and it's not poison ivy. It's box elder, which is a type of maple tree that grows, but the baby leaves look a fuck of a lot like poison ivy. But it definitely isn't. So anyway.
Cool story.
But I thought it was poison ivy for a minute, so I put like long sleeves on so I didn't like fucking, whatever.
Right. Okay. That's sorry. Took me a minute.
Sorry,
to kind
that
of
was the other point of the story.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure what the point of the story was there for a minute, I guess. But yes, that
point
is where
I don't have poison ivy growing on the side of my house, and now you fucking know that.
Right, and now you know it. I have fucking box elder because there's a maple tree out there, and it's box elder maple. Anyway, whatever, fuck it. So I had long sleeves on, but I'm down here in the basement, and it's fucking hot, and I just took my nipples out. So there you go. Now everybody's all caught up.
Man, get on my level. I've been topless for weeks. Anyway, Go Nintendo reports the Switch updated to version 18.1.0. Twitter functionality has been removed. Now, there are no more current generation systems that connect directly to Twitter, which is... Look, Twitter is a fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Captain
it's
Musk, he just keeps making it worse. Like, yesterday he made all likes anonymous now.
Private, yeah. Nobody can see what you liked.
Which, I mean, we all, like, the purpose of that's obvious. Like, it's so that people can like, right-wing conspiracy
Nazi
theorists
shit.
And racist and stuff and Nazi shit anonymously. Like, that's the point. But it also, once again, came at the expense of, like, what makes it functional in the first place. Remember when having
just
a verified account meant something?
Yeah, I do. I do indeed.
Like, oh, now I know this is actually a person and not some, bot account that paid for a blue check mark.
Yeah. It's very odd. Fuck
it
Twitter.
Is,
but can we all just move to something? I need to know what we're moving to.
I was enjoying Blue Sky, but it just kind of stagnated a bit. It's just kind of there.
But nobody else will move to it. I need everybody to move to fucking wherever.
Yeah, I need everybody. Well, not everybody. I could do without the Nazis. Like, they can stay where they are.
No, I need all the people that I like to move to the fucking thing that I would rather them be on. What a terrible sentence that was. God damn it.
It's a great sentence structure.
Something wrong with me. Jesus.
When you think about, like, the popularity of a lot of the breakout games of the last decade, their social media integration was a part of that. And not having an easily just, like, share this button to social media thing, like, not having that around is a huge loss. And it's because of the stuff that Twitter has put in place to make it more expensive and or difficult for people to use their platform. So
yeah,
I hate it. The world sucks. Let's burn it down. Anyway, okay. I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking, but I decided to save it to here. Time Extension reports fans are reviving GBA Mega Man Mania Collection 20 years after it was canceled. Oh, this brings me so much joy. Oh, this brings me
that's pretty great.
Happy. Have you watched this trailer? Because,
no,
oh my God.
I have not. I saw the thing and I was like, oh, that sounds fucking awesome. And then the rest of my life continues to happen. So it's like, oh, right. I forget about things.
This is perfect. I've seen some of these, right? Because they've already done the first Mega Man and the fifth one, right? They've already done those two,
right.
And they look spectacular. They look so much better than the colorized version that Capcom was going to do in the first place, like way back when Mega Man Mania was announced for Game Boy Advance. These have they're 100% the Game Boy games, but they've applied flawlessly the color palettes of the NES games to them. So, like,
which is outstanding.
Yes, they don't look like they're colorized. They look like they were intended to look this way, and it's just lovely. Could not be happier with the way these are cooking. I think they just, I don't know where to play them because it's homebrew computer stuff, and that's like so far out of my wheelhouse. But I'm working on trying to get my PC mode up and running on my Atari VCS. Because I really want to replay AM2R, and I feel like if I could get that running there, that would be a great place to play it. Because I just want to sit back, play it on my TV with a controller in hand, and the VCS seems like pretty well suited for that. And this also doesn't seem like anything the VCS couldn't handle. So theoretically, if I can make that happen in PC mode, but either way, they've now got like fully up and running Mega Man 2 and 3, which they call Mega Man World on here, because in Japan they're called Rockman World instead of just the confusingly named Mega Man, but now it's got a Roman numeral instead of a digit. They look so good. They look so good. I love this project with all of my heart. I want to see more. I want so badly to see more games, especially black and white Game Boy games, remastered and properly colorized. Like, there's so many great games that are on the Game Boy, and unlike colorizing black and white film, colorizing a video game is a totally different animal, because you're not like trying to color in something that was fully real. There's not like millions and millions of colors to match and shades and all this other stuff. Like, these are very simplistic graphics, and colorizing them like Link's Awakening, I've always hated that. Like, the Link's Awakening DX drives me nuts because, like, Link's got green skin, right? Because it's just like they took the grayscale thing and applied a color to it instead of actually coloring it in.
Right. Instead of doing it the right way, they just fucked around. This
way. And I've never been a big fan of that look.
Yeah.
The fact that the friggin' Capcom Oracle games just reused that exact same stuff still irks me to this day. But anyway, neither here nor there. These games look amazing. I am so excited to give these a try because these games deserve to be in color, and I want more fully colorized Game Boy games to this extent.
Breaking news, Chris. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
With tonight's victory. No, I don't know. With tonight's victory, the New York Yankees have just recorded their 10,000th victory.
Wow.
In franchise history.
8-1. Wow, the Phillies game apparently is still going.
10,000 wins.
I think it's over. No, it doesn't say it's over. It's right now. It's 5-3 in the bottom of the 11th. I guess how does overtime work now? Do the Orioles have a chance to try and try and come back? I mean, I guess that has to be the case.
Who's up? Where is it? Is it home or? Well, if it's bottom of the 11th, then whoever's winning.
Is it bottom because the little
11th,
arrows pointing down? Does that mean it's the bottom, or is it? I mean, it's So it's the bottom of the 11th. There's one out and somebody on third.
And the Orioles are winning?
No, the Orioles are down. Phillies are up 5-3.
And the Orioles are up at bat.
I have to assume so. I'm just looking at the. It doesn't say who's up at bat on this little app here.
Okay.
But I see the Yankees won 8-1, so that's good. It would be lovely for the Phillies to win a game because
victories.
That's a lot. That's a lot of victories.
It's a
Way
lot.
to go.
I mean,
it's been when I started watching
Orioles,
the Flyers.
I'm looking right now. The Orioles are up. It is the bottom of the 11th. The Orioles have to score at least 2 runs to push it to the 12th or game over.
Correct.
So the Phillies probably have won this one.
Probably.
But that's good.
Because here's the thing.
Because the Orioles are a good team.
I was watching the Flyers earlier this year, like late last year. I finally got myself back into hockey, and it was wonderful, and the Flyers were doing great. And then all of a sudden, they just started shitting the bed. They just tanked their entire season with these huge just loss runs, just like these marathons of losing on top of losing. And I don't know what happened. I went to go see the Phillies with Ellie, and it all went great. And then they just stopped winning. Like, they won the first London game against the Mets, and then they lost to the Mets. And that's
that's not good.
That's
not what you want.
Good. And then they lost the Red Sox a couple of times, and just on this losing streak. And like, it seems like they're trying to imitate the Flyers' previous season. We're like, oh, this team's great. This team's definitely going to the playoffs. And then it was just like, you'd think that. But watch what we can do.
However,
we're going to go ahead and fuck this up as hard as we can. So, here, I don't know, fingers crossed. Go Phillies, I guess. But also go Yankees. That's fantastic. Way to go them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just because we cannot go a week without a headline like this, Sumo Group, company behind Still Wakes the Deep and more, laying off 15% of its workers.
Wonderful.
I'm not
I saw
overly,
some statistic.
Familiar with Sumo Group, but yeah.
I saw some statistic today that we have officially hit more layoffs this year than last year, and it's June.
Oof. And it's June.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to more positive news. Kotaku reports modder adds Dark Ages shield saw to OG Doom in record time.
I saw that. That's awesome.
We haven't even talked about this yet. We will, but there's a new Doom game was announced, and there was a new weapon in it, and somebody has already modified the original game to have the weapon in it, which is just
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
The PC modding community does not fail to disappoint. Just lovely.
They never do.
Just lovely. They really don't. Glorious. Let's see. Nintendo Life reports Summer Game Fest will return to Los Angeles in June 2025. Geoff Keighley, living mannequin and inheritor of the IMAX fortune, has already announced that his that's how he is where he is. I just recently discovered that.
I know.
Like, I had no idea. Like, how did this guy get to be where he is? And it's because he's a rich guy. It's all nepotism.
Yeah.
Right. Summer Game Fest is going to be back next year. And look, it was better this year than it has been in previous years for the most part. I like how everyone seems to have settled on a much smaller period of time to do these in. Like, you can kind of break it down week 1, week 2, week 3. That is if Nintendo cooperates, right? Now, obviously, Sony jumped the gun a little bit, right? Sony, and there was one other presentation like that were the first week, like the pre-week before we made it our feature topic. But then we've had like 2 weeks in a row of like, all right, here's big Summer Game Fest, here's the big Xbox showcase. And if Nintendo follows suit and has their Nintendo Direct next week instead of the following week, then we'll have 3 weeks in a row of not E3, and it'll be nice. So I don't know. I hope it continues to get better. It ain't perfect, which we will certainly talk about. But yeah, it's still happening. I clicked on this because I didn't really understand what was happening. I've heard a little bit about it. Nintendo Life reports unofficial Nintendo World Championships cart smashes Kickstarter goal. I don't know, man. So somebody's doing some sort of special edition. Oh boy. Okay, so this happened already. Somebody was did a Kickstarter.
I don't know
to raise
this story. Yeah.
So somebody did a Kickstarter to raise money to create some sort of special edition of the Nintendo World Championships cart that's like a pro version of it. I went to click on the link in the article talking about it, and Kickstarter says NWC 35th Edition, a new developed pro version for the NES, is the subject of an intellectual property dispute and is currently unavailable.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because of course it is. Because of course it is. What are you doing?
Yeah. You can't just kickstart somebody else's project and take money.
Although you can. You called it NWC. That doesn't make it not the Nintendo World Championships. You wackos.
No, it's the NWC, you see.
Labeled as a new pro version to celebrate the upcoming 35th anniversary of the 1990 World Championships event, it will contain the original version of the cartridge alongside a new pro version. The pro version is more difficult. I'm just... How?
Yeah,
it was funded.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
£16,593 out of an £8,000 goal.
Oh, well, that explains everything, actually. British people are stupid.
So, like, it looks like John Hancock's... Hooray! Looks like John Hancock has one, or like a prototype of one or something. Yeah, they sent one to him, so he's got one. And yeah, it's fucking Rad Racer and Super Mario Brothers and a gold cartridge and a bunch of neat information about it. Like, what are you doing kickstarting something like this? Like, Nintendo, of course Nintendo's going to shut this shit down. They've got a new Nintendo World Championships game coming out in like a couple of weeks. How did this even get onto Kickstarter? Like, how did this even get as far as it did? And what's going to happen to all the money? Like, I have to assume everyone's going to get refunded.
You would think.
Yeah. Because, like, it's not like NWC repros are new. I have the old retroware ones. Yeah. This is weird. I don't understand this story at all. How did this get out of the gate? What were they thinking? Now this story I love. This story I love. I saw this morning. Time Extension reports, is this the first American Nintendo TV commercial? This is a fascinating little story. The commercial, which has been recovered by Chris Kohler and the Video Game History Foundation, is for the Mego Timeout toss-up handheld, which you might know better as the Game & Watch release Ball.
Okay.
Yeah, so originally the Mego was distributing those here in North America, it seems. Let's see, where was the here we go. Quote, one day while browsing eBay, I happened upon a film reel containing a TV commercial for Time Out, the first game in the series, he continues. I reached a deal with the seller and handed the film over to the VGHF right after I got it. The box notes that the film is credited to Lion Rock Limited, which was a division of Mego. It is dated June 25th, 1980, just a couple of months after Nintendo of America was incorporated. So, like, this might actually be the first commercial. It's a wild commercial, and it's like, it's fully remastered. Like, there's all it's from the frickin' film of it, which is wild.
That's awesome.
It's up
and
on
when
YouTube,
we say
and you
Mego,
can watch
we
it.
are talking about the toy company, right?
Correct. Yeah, they made those famous action
Yeah.
figures, the Super Fears and stuff. Yeah, that Mego. The commercials, it's definitely a product of its time. But seeing
wild
it
as
is
shit, man.
so cleaned up and remastered like this, or at least like properly, what's the word I'm looking for? Restored and saved, is just so cool. This is such a neat little piece of video game history right here that I had never even heard of. I did not know Mego originally did the Game & Watches in North America.
I didn't either.
It's so cool. And they changed them to Time Out instead of Game & Watch, and Ball was called Toss Up. It's so cool.
Huh. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. This one I also haven't read yet, but the headline was enough for me to include it. Kotaku reports, woman caught smuggling 350 Nintendo Switch games in her bra.
That's awesome. Good for her. Let her have them.
A woman trying to leave Hong Kong and enter China via Liatang Port was stopped by customs officers as they noticed she was acting strange, seemed nervous, and had oddly shaped breasts during a routine inspection of travelers. She's trying to smuggle over 300.
Your titties look weird. Come here. That's a fucking weird thing to do. It's a weird thing to do.
Marvelous.
Something fucked up with your tits. Come here. That's the I know tits. We got Timmy the tit guy over here. I went to my buddy Timmy and I was like, Timmy,
something's not adding up here.
Look at these titties. And he was like, oh, those titties don't look right.
Those look like Switch cards.
Those titties look like tatties. And I know tatties too. And you don't want no tatties.
Well, that wraps it up
yeah.
for week old news, and that wraps it up for this segment of the show. Yeah, we're not going to top that one, so we're going to take ourselves another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into this week's E3 recaps, which certainly happened. Plentiful. You are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
Hey there, Stone Age Gamer fans. Are you also fans of Star Trek? Well, maybe you'd like to listen to yet another podcast, maybe yet another Star Trek podcast. You see, me and my friend Majid, every other week, we talk about the original series, we talk about Strange New Worlds, we talk about Star Trek. We have a third friend, Brad, who's sometimes here, but he hasn't been. I don't know why. So come on over and listen to our show. Yet another Star Trek podcast at yetanotherstpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you enjoy the Stone Age Gamer podcast and other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network? Do you wish you could listen to them sooner than the regular unwashed masses? Do you wish you could contribute in some way? Well, then you should check out the Geekade Patreon. Yes, the Geekade Patreon is a wonderful and very much appreciated way for you to help us pay the bills and keep our shows running week after week. As a Geekade patron, you'll get a monthly podcast topic schedule and early access to nearly every show on the Geekade Podcast Network, as well as access to a patron-exclusive monthly show called DC's Amazing Movie Time from the creators of the Weekend Rental podcast. So head on over to patreon.com/geekade and become a loved and appreciated member of the Geekade Patreon team and get early access to shows like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this week's episode, Turning Tracks, and a whole lot more. See you there. We're back, and we're going to do our freaking best. It is not E3 season, and this week was absolutely just jam-packed, especially June 8th and 9th. June 8th in particular was like, woof, holy cow. So we're gonna kind of gloss over some of these smaller ones because they just contained so many games.
Multitudes. Yeah.
Just unreasonable amounts of games. We'll start with the Future of Play Direct. Let's see. I definitely skipped through this one a bunch, and I don't remember a goddamn thing about it. I still don't really understand what Future of Play is.
Yes.
They do these every year.
Is on there.
Right, but we already talked about that.
This Light Odyssey thing. This looks like Hollow Knight.
Slay the Princess, the pristine DLC.
3D Hollow Knight. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I think I heard something about this Battlesuit Aces, but nope, never mind. That is not what I thought it was. Yeah, this is... I think we might have too much information, Chris.
I think you're right. I think there's a cross between... Look, and this was fun. I don't want to... Recapping this is kind of difficult because of what it is, but like, for something that was happening to have on in the background while I'm doing other things, like doing dishes and whatnot, it was neat and fun to have this stuff constantly going on. Like, because, E3 was this really fun time.
Did we not talk about this last week? Because I'm seeing games. That's the weird thing about this, I think, is that, like, they show games in multiple places now. And that's not a thing.
A lot of, several of these games were shown in showcases that we've talked about already.
Okay, because, like, Rah Rah Boom was, like, the Ninja Girls beat 'em up, and Phoenix Springs is that really interesting-looking point-and-click one that I think
what
looks
was that
really
one
cool.
with the Game Boy where you're running around with the Game Boy screen? Like, that was that was in two of the ones we talked about last week. Like, there's this is just one of those things.
Screenbound. And that's also in the Wholesome Games Direct.
Right, they showed it again.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, Future of Play Direct, I wasn't super crazy about this one in general. It seems like it had like a VTuber thing where it was like a play on Toonami.
Okay.
Which was weird. But the host was this like white-haired anime girl with some sort of gas mask on. So she was really difficult to understand. Not quite like Bane or anything, but it was like, what are we doing?
A problem for you.
Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this? That's the best line that fucking could be a problem for you.
You think games are your ally?
Tom Hardy is a fucking weird cat, man.
He really
I like
is.
that dude a lot. I like him quite a bit.
So yeah, Direct. Future of Play, because there was also the Future Games Show, which is a different thing. Right. After the Future of Play Direct on, I love how everyone's co-opted the word direct too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because it's direct to the consumer.
Yeah, just like a Nintendo Direct, but totally not the same thing.
Yeah.
Then we got the Wholesome Games Direct. This one is just a wall of games. This one
There's
also
so much.
There's so much here, and this one was really starting to irk me as it went along, because I'm so tired of the word cozy. This new cozy,
yeah, I mean, that's
this
just
new
the
cozy
thing.
game. This is a cozy game. This one's cozy. This all new cozy game. Don't forget this new cozy game. This one's very cozy. Like, everyone's saying it like it's this novel thing, but everything is cozy now. I don't know. There's a game called Squeak Ross, which is like a mouse Picross thing where you make cheese.
I like that.
Like, okay, that's neat. That was like the thing that stuck out to me. I didn't watch this whole one. This one I was definitely watching while doing dishes, and then eventually I finished doing dishes and moved on to something else. So I missed some of this, but Wholesome Direct is neat because it's like all family friendly stuff. It's just 100% cutesy games. Yeah, that's fine. That's neat.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Steam's summer showcase of summer showcases. I don't know what that's about. That's just a fun group of words right there. So yeah, Wholesome Direct was fine. It happened. I did not catch either of these next ones, so let's see if there was any big announcements happening for the Latin American Game Show. Let's see.
There's some cool looking games there just from like the title screens. There is a game here called Beacon Nada, which I thought said Bacon Nada, and now I'm kind of sad that it doesn't. You know.
Some of these I've seen in other showcases, like Deathbound, Abyss X Zero, or Cross Zero, whatever. Astor.
Yeah,
I'm
when
pretty sure
did we
I saw
decide that
else.
was Cross, by the way?
I
feel
don't
like that's
know.
a fucking decision that was made a number of years ago, and nobody asked me about it. And I'm kind of fucking upset about it.
Yeah, I think they should all be V, like Batman v Superman. Because that's just
right.
dumber. The
Yeah, I don't
cabbage
know,
effect.
There's some
neat
interesting
games in
looking
this one.
stuff on here.
Yeah.
I need YouTubers to tell me which game I should play.
Yeah, I mean, like,
there
seriously.
is actually there's one game on here that I am actually legitimately super excited for. And it is called Mariachi Legends.
Yeah, it sounds like
I think
a
I talked
US
about
game.
it. Yeah, right. I think I talked about it a couple months ago because I saw like a trailer for it or whatever. It is it looks like a fucking Dia de los Muertos mariachi fucking Desperado, like the Robert Rodriguez flick Desperado, Metroidvania
Huh.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. I don't know that the Metroidvania aspect of it is accurate. I don't much care. It looks fucking dope as shit. Like, it's a good trailer. Graphics look great. It's like, you know, a 16-bit pixelized thing. It's fucking like crazy attacks and shit. Yeah, I'm super into this one.
The next showcase after the Latin American Game Show was the Women-Led Games Show. Which
is
I
weird
have to
because
say,
they should be leading into the kitchen. I don't see any cooking games on this women-led thing. That's very odd
This
to me.
was
There's no cooking. There's no cleaning. I don't get it. Sorry. I'll take it back.
Anyway, this one was actually not that long. This was a showcase with a reasonable amount of games that clocked in at 36 minutes.
There you go.
Thank you.
I actually do think
games.
this is fucking super awesome because the video game space is obviously occupied by a ton of dudes. Like, just look around at the video game landscape. It is a ton of dudes. But there are a ton of girls that play video games. And just like women write women characters better, one would imagine that women would make games that women would want to play. more than men, because we're stupid. And men. Like, we're just not you. So I actually think this is a really fucking awesome thing, and I wish it was like a bigger show.
I am glad that it was included as part of Summer Game Fest, and I'm glad that it's still going because it's been growing every year. But there are a handful of games we've already seen: Duck Detective, Rah Rah Boom. What's the Just Crow things? Abyss X Zero's here again. Cross, whatever the hell. So I didn't get to catch this one because this week was so difficult, and it made me sad that I didn't get to watch all of the showcases like I usually do. But skipping through it and looking at the list, it seems like it was a pretty solid affair, though nothing super new that was like, here's this one that's exclusively on this showcase that you haven't seen before.
Right.
But
there's some
just
really cool looking shit on here.
Yeah. Skipping through it, it's a well put together showcase. It's not overly it's not full of hosts doing skits, which is not great. Can't say
and what's
I really
nice is that it's
that all that much.
It's not a bunch of women coming out and being like, so you have a vagina. You're obviously an emotional bitch. Come check this shit out. Like, there's a wide variety, like, shocking. Who would have thought it? Women are people. And they don't just make a one type of game. Who knew,
The
Kris?
heck you say?
That's not,
I don't know.
that's not what I've been told by the internet.
No.
We should probably check their jawlines.
Meanwhile, there's the Future Games Show. Future Games Show, everything you need to know. Thanks, Games Radar Plus. What do we got here? What showed off on the Future Games Show? It was hosted. Oh, so this one had hosts. Oh boy, there's a whole... Wow, I don't know any of these names. Ash Millman. Katzen.
Oh, I love
Strippin.
Love Ash Millman.
True 3TAIENT. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of nonsense here. But this is not a recap.
Sounds
I
like
want
some
a
YouTube
recap,
shit.
darn it. Yeah. Bunch of people I don't know. Everything announced in the Future Summer Games Show from Men's Journal. Oh boy. Clockwork Ambrosia, Starship Troopers Extermination, something called Body Cam. I'm
That sounds hot.
not seeing any like big announcements here. You know, another look at Anton Blast.
I'm really excited for that. That does look great.
Yeah, Anton Blast looks great. Okay, seems like it was another showcase that was. Let's see, is this how scripted is? Yeah, we've got personalities on stage in front of a backdrop of the Future Game Show logo, doing skits
for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Kris,
this one I got an hour and 22, but oof, still, it's a little bit too much. It's too much. I like that we're getting there. I like that we're moving in this direction where we got all these different showcases and we're kind of spreading them out a little bit. It's kind of nice, but there's so many multiple hour showcases out there. There's so many games being made. It's a shame to not be able to cover all of them, but at the same time, like, it's too much information. There's just too much out there. I'm gonna kind of skip over the PC Gaming Showcase too. It is, once you get to this many things, it becomes hard to care.
It's an oversaturation. It's very similar to how, like, at least how I felt when I first decided was the wrong word. When I first discovered that I could download shit off the internet, I was like, oh, I'm going to download literally fucking everything I can. And then nothing mattered anymore. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, yeah. I can download all of these albums. I can download all of these comic books. I can download all of these whatever. Then none of it makes a fucking difference because it's just whatever.
And this is kind of like what's going on with the PC gaming show. They do this every year, and every year I try to keep up on it, and I just can't. This one was, I don't know how long it was, but looking at the list of games, it's like 100 games or some nonsense like that. It's just a massive list of games. I wouldn't even know where to frickin' begin on this. So I'm just not gonna, because we usually don't really do much in the talk of PC stuff. So that brings us...
we're just out of our element.
Exactly.
Like, we don't have anything to say about it.
So that's going to bring us to our big ones, right? I think we should probably save the Xbox one for last, because that's the biggest one that we've got left here. So let's talk about Ubisoft Forward a little bit. What was cooking on Ubisoft Forward?
Hated this show. Not because of what they showed, but because of how they showed it. They started with Star Wars Outlaws, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they then ran the same promo for Star Wars Outlaws 3 or 4 fucking times. Like, they did a video and they talked about it, and then they had people come out on stage and say the same fucking thing that the video just said, and then they showed another video and they said the same fucking thing again. And I was like, what? Why? What are we doing? This game looks awesome. Shut the fuck up now. What are we doing?
Yes, let us move on. We don't need all this.
If you were going to do 3 segments on it, they should be different.
I also was not overly fond of this presentation. I'm usually not. Ubisoft's presentations are usually shit. They're I mean, they were the ones that used to have like those really snarky comedians come up and do their showcases.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, what did we get? What did we started with
Star Wars Outlaws looks awesome.
They started with this very pretentious guitar player and symphonic music showcase, and then they did this, like you said, they did the Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Star Wars whore, and this one's just it's not scratching the itch. Not for me. I don't know what it is about Star Wars.
I think it looks cool.
I think everyone thinks it looks cool. I don't know what it is about Star Wars video games, just don't connect with me for some reason. I don't understand it. But there's something about this that just isn't tickling my fancy. They moved on to what, X Defiant? No, Skull and Bones. X Defiant.
Yeah,
or Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown DLC coming. The Rogue Prince of Persia,
which is cool. Did I want to like that game more than I did from the time that I played it. And I just played the demo.
Yeah, one of these days I'll probably spend more time with it.
Yeah.
But then they showed like the complete non-trailer for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, Back from the Dead. It is officially still happening. Probably been restarted
coming in
2026. 2026. So they just show Candle and time moving backwards, and then 2026. Why bother?
That's fine. At least it's coming.
Yeah, at least it's coming.
We know it's coming, though.
I hate non-trailers for something 2 years away. Just not a big fan.
Yeah.
Rocksmith. This is where this presentation started to really piss me off. I think they started doing it during the Prince of Persia ones too. But this Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, where the trailer is showing the trailer with YouTubers fake reacting to it, because that's one of those. That's one of the things.
That looks fucking amazing.
Just falling over and overreacting to everything. Like, somebody legit did that once, like 10 years ago, and it was one of those like moments that was kind of magical, being like, some dude lost his shit because they announced a game that made him so happy he lost his mind. And now it's a genre of YouTubers that are just like, what? god, standing up and walking away and throwing their headsets and oh my fucking god, I'm crying, I'm literally in tears.
Go.
And it's all happening
Literally
like
shaking
over
right now.
Oh my god.
Over Avatar. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
No,
I don't
this didn't happen.
and,
You're
like,
not real. This is all garbage. Fuck off.
No.
Burn in a fire.
I love all of you. Not a single person played that Avatar game and was like, "Yep, I don't ever need to play another fucking video game again." Because the reaction that these people are having are that I don't ever need to play another video game again. This has perfectly captured everything I want. And Avatar is not it.
No, it's not. Assassin's Creed Shadows, they spent a ton of time on.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Plus, a message from Yves Guillemot, and more Assassin's Creed Shadows. And that was kind of it. It's neat.
Yeah, this was a crap showcase.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Assassin's Creed, somebody had mentioned in the Discord that they were really stoked about this Assassin's Creed. And I agree with them in that I'm very glad that this series is no longer annualized because that was a bad idea. The series lost so much of its identity. I'm not a fan of the series, but it's one of those things that I understand that a lot of people are, and I respect that. And I never really have put in the time. I know we were gonna do that a while back, right? We were gonna play Assassin's Creed 2 and give our thoughts on it, or one of the Assassin's Creed games we both bought, and of course that didn't happen because we suck. But
I don't know that we suck, but
well, I do. I think you're pretty great.
We suck.
But yeah, Ubisoft.
It's wild because
Ubisoft sucks.
There's so many properties that Ubisoft has. There's so much under their banner, and it just seems like it's the same shit over and over and over again. And
honestly, it's a lot of the same shit that's not in my wheelhouse. They're not speaking to me with their games, and that's fine. Not everybody has to. They're clearly making plenty of money.
No, of course.
Ubisoft is kind of a shit company too. So yeah, I don't know. It was I hated the showcase. The games weren't bad. The games didn't bother me. None of the games were just like, oh, this is just fucking garbage, except Avatar. It can go burn in 1,000 fires, but whatever. I just didn't like the showcase because it's Ubisoft's personality that sucks. So, fuck them.
I was not a big fan. I really, really hated the way that they did the fucking Star Wars. I get it. Stop saying it over and over again, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, stop trying to resell me on something you already sold me on.
Yeah, like, I'm good. I'm interested. You don't...
So let us move on to the Yacht Club Presents. This happened just today, a few hours back, on June 14th. This was a fun little showcase. It was celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Shovel Knight. They just detailed...
Fuck off.
How dare you be 10 years old?
How has that been 10 years? Yeah, come on.
They broke down some of the unique things that they've done with Shovel Knight, the crossovers, new DLC coming to Shovel Knight Dig, and the puzzle
and
one.
Shovel Knight Dig coming to
Xbox and PlayStation.
Xbox and PlayStation.
Yep. They did some more information on Mina the Hollower, which is pretty cool. Pocket Dungeon.
Yeah,
like I'm.
They started showing some stuff off for that, and I was like, "Oh fuck, did that come out already?"
Yeah, still waiting on it. Still waiting on it. Thankfully, I feel like if it did come out, we would know.
Okay,
but yeah, that game looks great.
I felt like I would have, but maybe I didn't.
Fingers aren't quite on the pulse as much as they used to be.
Yeah.
And then they're doing like a Shovel Knight DX, right? It was a Shovel of Hope DX, which is just like kind of like the definitive edition of the original Shovel Knight, adding a few new features and bringing back a few older features and
a bunch of cheats and shit.
Yep, and rewind.
That looked awesome. Yeah.
new characters to play
It's
as.
such a good game.
I haven't played it in quite a while. I was really thinking about going back to it because I never even finished playing all the DLCs that they released. So I think now might be the time for me to jump in and re-experience Shovel Knight and also play Dig because it's on sale right now, and I never wound up getting Dig because I thought it was a little too expensive.
It's fun.
But now it's not. It's on sale. I have some store credit. I think I'm gonna throw some at Shovel Knight Dig and give it a go because I love the way it looks. I'm Bomb Chicken really turned me on to Nitrome in general.
Right.
So yeah. And then they ended the showcase with a tease of the next Shovel Knight game, which seems like it's going to be like Shovel Knight 3D. That seems to be
it is.
What it's going to be, which makes me a bit nervous after Dadish 3D. And I would have liked to see. I would very much like to see Shovel Knight evolve to something that looks more like Shovel Knight Dig. Like, how about a Shovel Knight 2 that's like 16-bit instead of 8-bit?
Yeah.
Before you wind up going all 3D. But you know what? Yacht Club Games, they seem to know what they're doing. So they're a company that definitely works in passion. So if they're passionate about what their next Shovel Knight game is, then I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be good.
Yep.
And that just brings us to the big one. This is the one that we're here to talk about, the Xbox Games Showcase 2024. Xbox is in an interesting position, right?
Yeah.
Going into this, we were saying this needs to be amazing, right? Because Xbox is not in a great shape as far as like public perception and overall sales this generation. They're lagging behind.
Sure.
And PlayStation just farted out a half-assed state of play. So this was the time, right?
That wasn't good. Yeah.
This was the time for Microsoft to shine. And I think they did pretty good, which in my opinion is not enough. I liked
it was okay.
I think it was a pretty good show. I think it was pretty solid. There was a lot of really cool things in there. There were a couple of things that didn't quite gel with me. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid showcase. This one is not doing it in order, and that's fine. Whatever, who cares? So Polygon, I'm using that as the recap. Obviously, there was a ton of talk of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and I could not possibly care less.
COD Blop 6.
Blopping all over the place. Doom the Dark Ages.
I am sure it is going to be massive and good.
That it's coming
sure
to
it is.
Games Pass on launch day. That's going to cannibalize the fuck out of that game's sales. But it's also going to have a lot of more people playing it, so who knows? I couldn't care less. They did finally fully announce Doom the Dark Ages, which looks so fucking stupid, and I'm so into it. I still haven't played Doom Eternal. I really need to get on top of that. But Doom the Dark Ages is Doom in the Dark Ages for some goddamn reason. Something about the origins of the Doom Slayer and swords and spiky shields and sure, whatever. Yeah, I don't care. This looks great and terrible. I'm so into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously we knew we were going to get Call of Duty. I was so glad that they got it out of the way out of the gate. Like, here's Call of Duty and we're done. Cool. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So then we move on to Doom Dark Ages. I'm into it. We got State of Decay 3, which, I mean, I've been so far over zombie apocalypse games that, sure, go for it.
Yeah. I know State of Decay has big time fans, and I hope this is everything that they want.
Yeah, this meant nothing to me, but again, yeah, I'm familiar with the name, so clearly it's got its fans. I did not like this one at all. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I
didn't care for this.
It was very quippy. You know, it was very what people think Marvel. You know, people are like, oh, it sounds like a Marvel movie. Like, That is not what Marvel movies
No, it
sound like,
doesn't.
and it never has been. This is what
It sounds what corporate people who think Marvel movies sound like.
exactly. Like, I just didn't like this trailer at all. None of the. I mean, obviously, I've not spent much time with Dragon Age at all, but I don't remember it being quippy. Like, I don't remember it being this. This did not look good.
I don't think I like BioWare games.
I definitely don't like
I think
BioWare
I like
games.
Knights of the Old Republic because it's Knights of the Old Republic. Mass Effect, like, it was pretty cool, I guess. I didn't get super into it. Jade Empire, which is a game that, if I like KOTOR, like Jade Empire, it's just KOTOR, but with, like, everything I love. And I didn't love that. I don't love Dragon Age. Like, I just don't think these games are for me. I know, again, this is one of those, like, they're huge fans of this franchise, and I hope they're excited. I hope this is great.
They're not.
And
Dragon Age fans do not seem happy about this at all, because it's a huge
That's
tonal shift. Like,
sure.
This is a big tonal shift from previous Dragon Age games, as far as I know. I don't remember seeing much positive about this on online at all. I don't know. This one really rubbed me the wrong way, and maybe I'm misunderstanding it. I could be wrong, but from what I had seen, Dragon Age fans were pretty disappointed in this quippy modern take on Dragon Age. Like, well, I don't know why you'd do this. Starfield Shattered Space is a DLC for Starfield, which, again, I think there are Starfield fans out there. Not nearly as many as people thought there would be, but they exist, and I hope they're happy about this. Same with Fallout 76.
As I was watching this,
go ahead.
As I was watching this with Katie, she went, "Isn't this the same game but just in space as Dragon Age?" Because they were back to back, and I was like, I mean, maybe. I don't really know, but yes.
Who knows?
Maybe not.
It's possible. They did some update for Fallout 76, Skyline Valley. Sure.
Yeah.
But this one here, terrible name. I can't even put into words how bad this name is. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That is an awful, dreadful name for an incredibly cool-looking game.
Yeah, it looks really
This
neat.
one was so freaking cool. Like, I love the whole idea of, like, they live in this world where there's a giant writing numbers down, and then everybody who's that age dies. Like, what the shit weird
wild
anime fucking nonsense is this? But then when I saw the gameplay, which is like really, really action-oriented RPG, this game looks fucking gorgeous. And it's not...
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It's not going for the hyper-realism gorgeous. It's going for a stylist. Like, it's very detailed. It's highly detailed, but it's, like, really stylish. And, man, the combat looks really cool. Like, the menu system looks Persona-style stylish, where, like, it just... The things fade into smoke and the numbers show up all over the place. Lots of dynamic cameras. I thought this game looked cool as hell. And it's totally original. As far as I know, it doesn't seem to be... It's the debut game from Sandfall Interactive. So it's a new studio.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's clearly they haven't done anything in the past. It's their debut game. But, like, God, I just hate this name. I don't know what the name is about. I'm sure it's got something to do with the lore, but I feel like this game is going to have a real problem because of its name.
Yeah. I know that is one of the ones that I was pretty excited about, and then I was like, oh, that's multi-platform. Sweet.
Yeah. Huzzah. Next up, we have South of Midnight, and I'm of two minds about this one. I think that the stop-motion look that they're going for is terrible.
How dare you?
This low frame rate animation they've got going on here doesn't work because it doesn't look like stop motion. Like, it looks like CG running at a low frame rate. These characters don't look like stop motion. So, like, this frame rate thing they've got cooking on here, I think looks awful. especially because that's not what the game plays as. As soon as you get to the gameplay, it bumps up to 60 frames per second. So, like, the cinematics are the same visuals, but with the frame rate cut way down to give the illusion of some different animation style, which I think does not fucking work at all. I'm sure I'm in the minority. I just thought this looked bad.
I think you definitely are. This is the game that I would legitimately consider getting an Xbox for.
I think the game
That's
looks
how
neat.
high I am on this game. I think it looks absolutely incredible.
I think the gameplay looks neat. I like the traversal. I like the character designs. I just don't like the way the cinematics are animated together. And this wasn't the only game that did that. The other one was from the Mixtape. Mixtape, I think, pulls it off.
That's the other game I was super excited about.
That one, I think, pulls off the low frame rate way better than this. It looks so much more natural coming out of this because it's mixing, I don't know, the way it's mixing the low frame rate of the character motions with the smooth background together. There's something about the way this one's doing it that I think south of whatever the fuck we were talking about.
South of Midnight.
I just think it fails miserably on that, especially because it's not consistent with the gameplay. When the game shifts that 60 frames per second and then goes back to that 10 frames per second, I'm just like, what the fuck? But like so much other stuff on this game, I think looks great.
I could not disagree more. Yeah. I could not disagree more. I think South of Midnight was the coolest thing that they showed. I would legit consider getting an Xbox for that game. But I'm pretty sure it'll come to PlayStation at some point.
Okay, who knows? I was just going to say, isn't this one of their Xbox Studios games? Oh, wait, that doesn't fucking matter anymore.
It is.
that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I like a lot of the ideas of this. I do. I thought the monster designs were really cool. I just hated the animation. But, you know, that's okay. You're wrong. We had World of Warcraft, The War Within. World of Warcraft is still a thing. I didn't know that. Cool. Now, what were your thoughts on Metal Gear Solid Delta?
I think it looks fucking awesome. I think it looks great. I really do. I watched more of the interview that David Hayter did afterwards with a producer of it, and like, yes, there are some changes and whatnot, but that game, I love Kojima games. Obviously, I do, but there could be some changes that might not necessarily be bad, and if this is good and it plays well and it does well, then there might be more Metal Gear, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
I agree.
I fully believe that this is the best game in the franchise.
I would love to see more games in this series from different creators too. Like, yeah, I respect to Kojima for what he did and what he went completely bug nuts doing. Let's get some fresh eyes on this franchise. I had a couple of issues. The only issue I had with this trailer was its frame rate. It seemed like there were some really weird frame rate inconsistencies happening during it. Like, a lot of time it's going smooth, and then sometimes, like, during like some of the close quarters combat stuff, the frame rate just dies. Like, really similar to like when things get hefty in Breath of the Wild kind of thing. Like, it was really kind of noticeable.
And that might just be where they're at in development.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not really holding it against it. It's not like
this is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, there's still time.
But I think all the character designs,
I thought it looked great.
The character redesigns all look great. The facial animations all look great. Yeah, I mean, fuck Konami, obviously. They're they suck. But I'm glad that they're doing this. It does look quite good. You know, I have a couple issues with the frame rate, but other than that, I think overall this looks real nice.
Yeah, I mean, in the history of the Metal Gear franchise, right? They've kind of gone away from Kojima one time, and Twin Snakes is fucking awesome.
Well, it's Kojima wasn't really involved in Revengeance, right? That was Platinum.
No, well, I'm talking about like Metal Gear Solid, like not these like offshoot things and like
right, okay,
whatever the fucking like where they've taken a Metal Gear Solid game and kind of tweaked it a bit for whatever. They did that with Twin Snakes, where they brought in what was
Silicon Knights.
Who the fuck made Silicon Knights? And it was awesome. Like,
yeah,
and it's weird, and there's some nonsense with it, but like if you play through Metal Gear, it could use a bit of updating for the control scheme.
Yeah,
like it could. I feel like it's very similar to how I think that once, if it's done well, right? Obviously, we haven't played it. They haven't really talked about like this button does this. But I think we'll start to look back on it at like we do with Resident Evil now. Of like, oh my God, they're totally changing the control scheme and blah. It's just not Resident. And oh God, this is so much better. Never mind.
Yeah.
You got it. This is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping
I think
for.
like I love the Metal Gear games. I know how to play them because that's how they play, but they don't have to play that way. And I think there is a way to streamline it and make it more accessible. And it could be fucking terrible, and I would be very sad. But I'm really excited about it.
Oh, glad to hear that. Oh, sorry. I'm glad to hear that's ringing your bells. Sorry, it's late, and I'm having
I still
a hard
don't
time
get the
coming up
name.
with them.
Sorry, I still don't get the name though.
What,
like
Delta?
This is the first game chronologically in the series. That's Alpha in that alphabet.
Yeah, but it's the third game.
No, I know that, but it's the first game chronologically in the series. So, like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, chronologically,
I
but
get
also,
the name.
like, I feel like a chunk of this game, storyline wise, you wouldn't play this first. Because then everything with... You've created a time paradox by killing Revolver Ocelot. The fuck does that mean? Unless you've played the other games. This game is designed to be played as a prequel. It was designed to be played at the third in the row. Right? This is the game that goes back to fill in the blanks.
I will play it when I want.
You're in charge of your own destiny. Moving along, Sea of Thieves. It's getting its 13th season. I'm glad Rare was finally able to make a game that people cared about again. Good on you, fellas.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I feel like I should. It looks really cool.
And I'm sure if I spent the time playing it, I'd probably care about it somewhat, but today is not that day. What is Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn?
No idea. Not God of War.
Yeah.
Is the vibe I got from it.
Turning into a cat dragon thing. I don't know. It's
but a Souls-like kind of thing. It had a good trailer.
Yeah, it does have a good trailer. This looks like the kind of game...
It's a fucking terrible name.
I would never be able to play this game. Just because of the camera was making me nauseous while watching the trailer.
Yeah.
So, no thank you. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And which is
looks cool.
Same thing I feel about Age of Mythology Retold.
Yeah, don't care.
If you're an Age of Mythology fan, yeah, good for you for getting a remake of Age of Mythology. I know people liked this. I am not people. But yay. Oh, and then we have this one. Then we have the jawline. The
Perfect
jawline.
Dark, starring John Dark.
Yes. Clearly a this is pushing the woke trans narrative where all women in games have to be ugly and manly.
Yeah, they do. Every single one of them. There is not a Lollipop Chainsaw remake coming out. That game does not exist. Please do not look at the man behind the curtain. It's a first-person fucking shooter. You don't look at her.
But even if you do, look at what about this character model is not conventionally attractive female? She looks like fucking a cross between Lucy Lawless and what's her name? She was in Tron Legacy. Olivia Wilde. She looks like a cross between Lucy Lawless and Olivia Wilde.
See, I think she looks a little like Bo-Katan.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. So,
but you know what she doesn't look like, Chris? She doesn't look like Margot Robbie, and that's a fucking problem. But also, because I've seen that comparison of like, they should fucking, Margot Robbie's so fucking hot, that's like the model that it used to be. Has anybody ever fucking looked at Margot Robbie's jawline? It's the same as Joanna Dark's. Assholes.
But here's the thing.
She's not blonde. She doesn't have big tits, Chris, and that is unacceptable. Because when I'm playing a first-person shooter and I'm putting myself in the role of the character, I want to be a blonde with big tits.
Now look, I didn't notice nothing occurred to me relating to this when seeing this trailer. Like, absolutely none of this controversy even came close to occurring to me.
Nope.
When watching this trailer.
I thought this looked really cool. And I don't like Perfect Dark.
I also thought it looked pretty cool. I remember when Perfect Dark Zero came out, and everyone was bitching about the character model.
Hated it.
Everyone hated the game, and they hated that they made Joanna Dark look all like anime girly looking. And now everyone's all like, no, that was what it was supposed to. You ruined this character. Like, I thought they ruined the character last time. I thought that was what you said. Because then you go back to the N64 design of Joanna Dark, and it's another completely different character. I thought this new character model looked more like the old character model.
Yeah.
My only gripe with this game, I thought on its own merits, it looked pretty cool, because I didn't really understand what it was until towards the end of the trailer when somebody said Joanna, and I was like, wait, is this Perfect Dark? Because this game looks neat, but it certainly doesn't look like Perfect Dark.
Yeah. No, I thought this looked cool.
Yeah,
it looks
I agree.
Like little Mirror's Edge-ish in there with some of the parkour shit.
Yeah, first-person parkour.
It's not I'm not going to play it.
No, I'm not going to play it either. It's not my kind of game, but neither was the original Perfect Dark. I barely touched that, and I didn't play Zero at all because I just didn't fucking want to. But
is it weird that it's not being made by Rare?
A little bit, but Killer Instinct
Crystal
wasn't
Dynamics
either.
That's doing it. Yeah, well, that's fair.
They've been farming out those properties to other companies, and I will never not be sad that Nintendo didn't buy Rare back in the day, because Microsoft has been a terrible, terrible steward of that company.
Yeah,
just fucking dreadful. Because we're just now getting a new Perfect Dark game, right? Like, we got Perfect Dark Zero and Xbox 360. We're 2 generations later. They're Killer Instinct seemingly not getting a follow-up, even though that game turned out to be really good after all its updates and whatnot. It's nothing at a Banjo. Yeah. They're terrible. This was a bad fit from the get-go. These games.
It really was.
Whatever. So yeah, I really thought this was a very interesting, stupid, asinine, bullshit controversy aside. I really thought this was an interesting take on this game. Like, this is a full-on reimagining of Perfect Dark, and not being a expert on the franchise, it's like difficult for me to say with any level of authority that this didn't look like Perfect Dark. But I didn't get any Perfect Dark vibes off of this at all. Going back on it, seeing the weapons that like shoot through walls is a very very Perfect Darky kind of thing. I think the character model looks great.
I do too.
I
do too.
I just got to the part in the trailer where she takes the helmet off, and I'm like, I don't know what's fucking wrong with people. Like, obviously there is a movement online, partially spearheaded by our smushy Jeff fella, who just really wants this narrative to be a thing where people in charge are trying to make games with ugly women to push men out of the gaming space. Like that is, what could there possibly be to gain by that? The point of all of these things, the point of Disney Star Wars, the point of all these games is to make money.
Yep.
Like, they're not pissing you off on purpose, because doing that does not make them money. Unless it does. If they figure out a way to make that, to monetize that shit, then they'll do that.
Good on them.
Good on them. They're going to do that. But there isn't some sort of big conspiracy to make women more manly in games. And if you're looking at, now you see this complaint online with crazy transphobes that look at women and then try to like anatomically break them down and saying, actually, that's a man. Nope, that's a dude. This is transfer. That's a dude. Like, stop it. Stop it. Please look around you. Women exist, and they're just as diverse as men in the way that they look. There are all kinds of facial structures and whatnot, but even this character model adheres to traditional beauty standards. What is wrong with people?
It's not a blonde with big tits, Chris.
Not okay.
That's the problem. No.
I would hate to see this game.
And again, I wonder how much of that is real versus how much of it is engagement farming with bots that are engagement farming other bots.
Right. There's definitely
like we were talking about
sells.
earlier, I think. But before we started recording, the narrative that's coming out around this latest episode of The Acolyte, like, you can find, and it's not even just people repeating a similar talking point. It is the repetition of the exact same fucking talking point. Like, said the exact same way with the exact same words and the exact same tones and inflections and all of those. It's very odd. It's just very, very odd. And it doesn't really track, you know? But I don't know. It's very strange. Of course there exist dudes out there that think these things should cater to them and to their desires and all of that. But again, like, there do exist those games. I'm very excited for the Lollipop Chainsaw remake. That game's not going to get labeled woke by any stretch of the imagination, because the character is a blonde cheerleader with big tits that bounce around and you can see her underwear when she flips over. Like, but just because you can't see Joanna Dark's fucking pixelated bush doesn't make it woke. It's fucking odd, man. It's very, very strange.
There's a face model. Like, they didn't just conjure this face out of nowhere. This is a woman's face.
Yeah.
They used a face model. Fuck. I don't know. The game looks cool.
Now it's a man, Chris.
The game looks cool, and it's nice to see. And it was at this point during the showcase where I was like, Xbox has got a little bit of a personality going on here. These are some Xbox-ass Xbox games. And that's what I want to see. I want to see them have a personality. I don't want to see what we've been getting. I hated this next one, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. I despised this.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this.
Because there was zero gameplay. Like, here's the opening cinematic.
It was just kind of gross.
It was super gross, but it was like, here's the opening cinematic for Diablo 4. fucking why. Fucking why. Why would anyone want to just watch the opening cinematic
for
now?
3.5 minutes?
What purpose does that serve? It's not selling anybody on this game because you're not showing what the game is, looks like, does. You're showing nothing of value to anybody that isn't already sold on this game. And then they're just going to need to watch this again when they start playing the fucking game. This was just a fucking bonehead. I barf. Hated this. Moving on.
It was kind of dumb.
Moving the fuck on. Fable.
I don't understand how this is the same game that had the Richard Ayoade trailer.
I also don't understand how this is like
Fable?
They're doing the mockumentary thing. But like, how are their cameras? Like the camera's zooming in and shaking around on this dude who's being interviewed. Like, but this is like medieval times. There aren't cameras or TV shows. What? Doesn't make any fucking sense. I guess it looks neat.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I didn't care. Fable's never been for me.
Fable has 100% never been for me. I have never been interested in Fable. But it is an Xbox thing, so that's not nothing.
That's for sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I thought this next one looked really cool.
The Frag Punk?
Yeah. A shooter where you play cards to like do weird different things.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand this in the least, but like I'm not as into card-based things as you are, so
yeah. I don't know, I thought it was an interesting, like, there's one bit where like somebody like cracks a card in half and then there's like grass grows all over the place that you can then hide in. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then there's like another one that makes everybody have like big heads, so headshots are easier. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat.
It did seem neat. Now that you're mentioning those things, like, oh, right, I remember this one where because the cards, they would crack all of them, right? That's how they would get their powers out of them. So, like, the physical cards of these items in the game. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Not for me.
I thought it looked cool.
I didn't understand the placement of this winter burrow thing.
I was going to say, they showed a game that did not belong in this showcase.
No, this belongs in some sort of indie showcase. This stuck out like a sore thumb, and not in a great way either. Like, I can't say I was all that impressed.
It looks fine.
Yeah, exactly. It looks fine.
It looks okay. This should have been in the fucking Cozy Games.
It should have been,
showcase. That would have been fine. That would have been exactly where this should be. Your mouse and you forage and you're trying to find other fucking mice, I guess. And it's like resource management. You got to build shit. But then the trailer ends like you finally find your friend, and the fucking owl comes and snatches him. Like, oh,
son of a bitch!
Oh, god damn! That was a weird trailer.
Mixtape is up next. This looks neat.
Yeah, except as you said, mixtape was written on a CD.
Yeah, that pissed me off. That made me so mad. You don't write mixtape on a CD. That's a CD. You can't fool me. I was there.
I grew up on that shit.
This game looks wild. I think
it looks cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this one, I really think the animation style works here. I think it's too harsh in the other one. I think maybe they need to increase the frame rate just a little bit. Because I think that's what's hitting here, is that this is these characters are moving at a slightly higher frame rate. I think they're pulling it off here, and they weren't pulling it off in the other one. But no, this game looks very pretty. Yeah. It's very, 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 very pretty. And speaking of very, very pretty, Microsoft Flight Simulator is very pretty.
It is very pretty.
I don't care.
Nope. Don't care at all.
Same with the Elder Scrolls Online, Gold Road, couldn't care less. Life is Strange. I've never gotten into these games. But I know they have their
people
fans.
Are fucking furious though that they are charging like $30 extra or $20 extra to play it like 4 days before it officially launches.
Yeah, that's Square Enix for you.
Yeah. No, this looks fine. I mean, if you're into the Life is Strange shit, this is like exactly more of that. It looked cool. Like the dimension hopping stuff, I thought was neat.
I also appear to be in the minority here. There's something I can't really put my finger on what it is about this Indiana Jones game that's doesn't look right to me. But this game does not look very good to me. It's first person. But like most of this trailer
doesn't look right to you.
Most of this trailer wasn't first person. Most of this trailer was just cinematics. And it doesn't look right to me. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But it doesn't look right to me. It looks wrong. I don't know what else to say. I cannot articulate this. I can't figure it out. It's just the whole time I'm looking at it, like this really looks like a video game that's trying and failing to look super real. And this Russian villain dude, like the writing on his intimidation sequence or whatever was fucking shit. And and then you've got the game plays in first person, and I think that's fucking weird. And like I can almost respect the notion that you didn't really just want to be like Uncharted. But like, you know what's great? Uncharted.
That's a fucking awesome game.
Uncharted's great.
All fucking 5 of them.
The new Tomb Raider, the newer Tomb Raider games are great. Like, there's nothing wrong with those. Like, do Indiana Jones like that. They're doing Indiana Jones. So, you do Indiana Jones. You are Indiana Jones. What the hell?
I think this looks really cool. I think this looks worse after this trailer than it did the one they showed last time. Like, right. I'm still interested. For sure, like I'm still interested because it's Indiana Jones. Of course, I'm still interested. The punching looked really weird in first person. There was some weird anatomical like stretching of the arms that I don't think looked right. Maybe that's just me, but I don't think this trailer helped push it forward in the way that like the next big trailer should. You know, because the first trailer they showed, it's like, oh fuck, this looks really awesome. And then you would expect the next trailer, they're further along in development, it's going to look even better. And I don't think it did. I think it maybe looked a little worse than the first trailer. So, I don't know. I still think it looks really cool.
I don't. but to each their own. All right, let's see. Let's keep this train moving because I'm running out of steam here. Mecha Break.
Yeah, well, we're almost done.
Oh my god, this Mecha Break game. This looks like the coolest game I will never fucking play. You know what? This game looks so stressful.
Not Gundam?
Yeah, right?
I thought it was Gundam.
I could have sworn, but I actually thought this was going to be a new Virtual On game. This looks so stressful. Like it looks cool as shit, but like, oh my god, watching the combat, and all the missiles flying everywhere, like I cannot. Nope, I'm too old for this shit. What the hell? I'm out. I can't even watch somebody play. This is too much.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool.
Wu Chang Fallen Feathers.
It's another Soulsborne, Souls-like kind of thing.
Whatever.
This look cool. The monsters look cool. Combat looks cool. If you're into this sort of thing, I am. I'm into this time period in this like setting. So
apparently, Avowed is not more of the same game. Apparently, this is a different game. Okay.
Is it?
Avowed? I don't know.
I don't know. I thought this was... I don't know. I thought this looked like Dragon Age. You know?
I got nothing. Atomfall. I don't remember this one. What's Atomfall? Rebellion. Some sort of first person monster
Fallout.
shooty nonsense. Okay. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Oh, this one. The fucking balls on these dudes. You know, we've got Phil Spencer coming out talking about you know, it's a rough time for the industry, blah 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 blah. And you really got to love the back-to-back talking about how they're the importance of game preservation and then announcing an all digital new version of the Series X.
Whoops.
Pricks. I don't know. Sure, why not? It's making all digital Series X.
It's fine.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
It's fine. It just, the executives coming out and saying all their shit after everything that Xbox has done, everything that's been going on with Microsoft and the studio closures, they dropped all this fucking money to buy Activision Blizzard, and then they wound up sending all these other people out of jobs and the record profits, and you know, we're at this point where it's like, games are so expensive to make, and we got to make all these cuts because it's the only way to do things. Also, we're seeing record profits across the board, but we need to cut these jobs because games are just too expensive to make. We're making a shitload of money, but you know,
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah,
it's very Wizard of Oz at the moment.
I think they finished on a pretty high note, though. Gears of War coming back. I feel like Gears has been out of commission for a little while now. When was the last Gears of War game? Gears of War. Where are my Gears of War games? We've got... Oh, shit. Gears 5 was in 2019. Gears Tactics was in 2020, but that was a spin-off at best.
That's different. Yeah,
the last proper Gears game was in 2019. So yeah, it has been out of commission for a little while now. So it's really nice to see this. We didn't get much. It was just a teaser, but that's one of those like very Xbox franchises. You know, like that is a Microsoft as an Xbox game, and it was nice to see it back. It felt right. I was glad to see it.
Yeah, it's never been for me. I've never really gotten the Gears thing. I've played them a bunch of different times, a bunch of different Gears games. I'm like, it's okay.
I liked the first Gears. I was terrible at it, but I enjoyed it.
That's fine. It's just not. Shooters are just not my thing. They're just not. They're never going to be. You know, like I said, the games that I was most excited about from this showcase, other than Metal Gear Solid, or obviously, was South of Midnight and Mixtape. So, Xbox exclusive franchises are just not for me.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But man, I hope it's awesome. I hope it's great.
Too. I think they put together a pretty solid show. Most of it wasn't for me, but most of Xbox isn't for me. But it did feel like an Xbox showcase that had a bit of its own identity, and that's what I think a lot of Microsoft has been missing is, chasing this PlayStation stuff. So, yeah,
it was definitely better than the State of Play.
Oh yeah, but that bar was pretty low. That was a very weirdly low effort thing for Sony to do for their summer showcase.
It really was. It was very, very cocky.
Sony's gonna Sony.
Sony's gonna Sony.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, not as good as it needed to be, but
exactly, it was good stuff, but not as good as it needed to be.
I think Sony and Nintendo do a better job of showing off things where it's like, you might not think that this is the console for you, but here's some stuff that maybe will pull you in. And I don't know that Xbox ever does that. Like, I never come away from an Xbox showcase being like, oh, those were all the games that they are trying to show to people who are not Xbox people to get them to jump in here.
Right.
And I feel like all the Xbox showcases feel like preaching to the choir kind of things. And that's fine if that's what you're doing, you know? I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
Yeah.
And that's going to wrap up week 2. Well, technically week 2. There was week 0 with PlayStation, but this is the second proper week. That just leaves LRG3, the limited run showcase, and hopefully the Nintendo Direct. I'm really hopeful it's next week. I would love to have it happen during my birthday week. And I also don't want this to stretch through to the last week of the month. I'd like for it to be more cohesive. It seems to make more sense to me to have it happen this week. They did say in June, and there is technically another week after this next one, but I got my fingers crossed we'll get an announcement early in the week and have a Nintendo Direct next week. So I guess we'll see where that lands.
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
If it does, then we'll probably dedicate our feature topic to breaking down LRG3 and the Nintendo Direct. Otherwise, we'll just do LRG3 in the week-old news and do the Nintendo Direct when we do it. But with that said, that is going to be our show. Join us next time. Like I said, we're either going to do more E3 wrap-up stuff if the Nintendo Direct happens, because we always tend to break those down pretty thoroughly because I'm a Nintendo goon. And if not, then we'll have Dean on and we'll do the Cartoon Express. So you'll find out what happens next week when we do, I guess, when we record the show. And that is it, everybody. We're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes. You'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff like link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by banjo guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, I'd like to thank me for editing the show this week, because Evan's out of town and I'm doing it. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.